All right, turning on audio, and then we should be getting the video feed coming up soon.
You said you went live 4 minutes ago.
Yeah, I had a splash screen up, so hey, welcome everybody. We're actually tuned in now.
There we go.
I think, yeah, we'll have to suffer through some low quality production value. I'm not as good at this as GD Nerd is,
No,
but
I think we're not supposed to mute Art.
welcome to the stream.
He's the judge, yeah.
So we've got some player audio going in the background, and I'm just going to do like a third person over the head view. Do we want to take a moment to talk about the list for the players that are playing, the players that are playing themselves?
Maybe to introduce people who are on here with you.
Yeah, oh yes, of course. Sorry, I'm so rude. I've got the wonderful voice of Xavier Protocol's Jacob here, and we're also being joined by Wargaming Dad. So I've got a couple guest commentators on today. We should have a good show for you.
Yeah.
Over to you guys. You want to plug anything before we get rolling?
No, I think people, hopefully, if you haven't already seen any of the stuff I'm doing, then, Google it.
Yeah, of course.
It's out there.
One Google away. All right.
There are combinations for your list where you don't need to play Megs is bankable.
We've got two players today. We've got Suzume, or Leaf. And we've also got Morgan. I took a look through the lists ahead of time, and I see some pretty weird stuff in here. Let's see. Who do you want to start with? We'll go with Suzume. We've got what looks to be a Thanos roster, mostly. Thanos and A-Force, I think. I like the combination of the 9-point Thanos, and I also like being able to bring in She-Hulk as a heavy hitter. There's a couple interesting things here. I saw rocket boots in the list here. Do you guys have the lists open at all?
Yes, I do.
Would you mind going through it for me? I'm gonna just play with the audio levels a bit here.
Yep, no worries. Yeah, I just did the same. Okay, we'll start with Morgan because that's what I've got first. Morgan has got Black Panther, Enchantress, Lockjaw, MODOK, Magneto, Mystique, Okoye, Taskmaster, Toad, and Valkyrie. So he's all Brotherhood by looks of it, and he's got Advanced R&D. All you've got: Asteroid M, Deception, Field Dressing, Hired Muscle, Magnetic Refraction, and Medpack. Here for his extract in Hammers, Senators, and Panic Grips. And for his secures, he is running Demons Downtown, Gamma, and Infinity Formula goes missing. So it looks like he's wanting to wants to run an E.
Yeah, it's kind of what I describe as a Magneto blows up the world roster.
Most definitely.
He wants to play Magneto and blow up the world. Now, this map is not great for that. It's got one piece of size 5, one piece of size 3, and the rest is all size 2 and size 1. So there's no size 4, and like I said, only one size 3. So if that's your game plan, is throw loads of stuff, then this is a kind of a limiting factor on it.
Yeah, I've seen Morgan play once before, and I know he has run Mystique's leadership, so it'll be interesting to see what he does run.
Yeah, I think that's largely dependent on the secures.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, and do you think there's a chance we see A-Force instead? Oh, no, sorry, that's the other list, isn't it? So we've got Magneto blows up the world, right?
Yep.
I think that, maybe we could see a Mystique pivot here. But, this is one of those, I think, Lockdock rosters that has been making the rounds, right? We have the introduction of Lockjaw, and being able to teleport Magneto and MODOK all over the board is, it might come up like gangbusters. Could teleport Magneto to a spot where he can throw stuff again. So that could be crucial in this matchup. We'll see.
Yeah, between that and Asteroid M, he's going to be moving all over the board, isn't he?
Don't expect that short mover to stay where he is for sure. Not for long, anyway.
Okay.
Just long enough to throw some punches.
Yeah.
So we've got Suzume on the other side. I'll do the quick rundown. It's OG Black Widow here, Corvus Glaive, Infinity Reality Gem, Infinity Time Gem. We got the new one, Medusa, from the Inhumans. Okoye, Proxima Midnight, She-Hulk, Storm, and Thanos. Tactics are coming in with a couple interesting picks here. Bitter Rivals, Brace for Impact, Climbing Gear, Hired Muscle, Med Pack, Rocket Boots, Special Delivery, A-Force, and Stalwart Determination, A-Force. For Crises, he has Hammers, Fear Grips the World. He has Panic Citizens, Scrolls. For Secure, there are Deadly Meteors, Demons Downtown, and Comeuppance. And Gamma Wave is the last one. Got a priority roll going on.
Yeah, Suzume's won the priority roll, and I think he said he was taking Extract.
All right. Nice. Thank you. I've got the player's volume down a little bit lower just to make sure it doesn't overshadow anything we're trying to say, but I can adjust on the fly if needed. So we've got... I was surprised to see Rocket Boots, but it is kind of going to open up some cheeky plays with special delivery, I think. That could be what we're looking at.
Well, yeah, because he's only got Storm out, doesn't he, to play it?
Yep. So something like a big beefy Thanos, She-Hulk, and Okoye fits a roster nicely, particularly sort of some of the lower threat values. Something along those lines where you can have the ability to drop off She-Hulk. Suzume's chosen 17 threats for our combination of Scrolls and Demons Downtown.
Nice. Yeah, this is going to be... I was interested to see to see if we would see Skrulls today. I think there's... we have a Hired Muscle in at least one list, right? Both of them?
I mean, this feels like kind of a classic Thanos thing, keeping the VPs low, so this feels like that combination is it's like super slow. I can't think of a slower combination of Crises. So this is going to be sort of an attrition-heavy brawl fest is my initial thoughts on that setup.
I think I would agree with you. And I'm not sure you want to be the person picking up that scroll. Probably paints a big target on your head.
That's true, yeah. But then I think probably Suzume is Leaf, is very happy to have the scroll sit on the table and have no one pick it up.
Right.
A reality time Thanos comes in at 9, so for the remaining 8, we could well be seeing a She-Hulk Okoye to make 17. And given that we've got a nice narrow crisis, it's all going to be sort of condensed down into...
our entire table just got rotated, I think.
Yep.
How did they manage that? Something different, isn't it?
Pure skill.
Undo.
They rotated the literal table instead of rotating the map.
Oh goodness.
I think it's fine.
I think maybe they should try to restart the table. This is going to be
fine.
Goodness.
You hit some automatic TPS script because the table got shortened. Well, it's longer the other way now. It feels like the table we rotated. No, I don't know how you.
Yeah, they're just talking about fixing it. I don't know how high you set your levels, but
yeah,
they're talking about reloading. So, predictions then, guys.
Yes, we've got some time on our hands now.
Yeah. How do we feel with this
as
setup?
the resident Brotherhood player, I'm going to have to choose Morgan with his Brotherhood.
I mean, Morgan is a great player, and he certainly knows how to play against Thanos. He's played with it enough.
Yeah.
So he's not going to be coming into this blind at all. He wasn't 6-0 in the Oceania League by accident. He knows his list, and I'm sure he has thought about this and has a plan, which probably involves Magneto blowing up the world. I think the biggest thing will be to see how he tries to control a 9-threat Thanos, a big beefy Thanos, assuming we see one. But I think it's pretty likely with this setup. This feels like a perfect place for Thanos to play.
Yeah, we'll have to wait for Morgan to rejoin. Oh, you already left the room, Morgan.
Yeah, just reset the table.
No.
Whoops, I'm on mute here. So I know he's not taking the Mind Stone, but he can certainly move characters around the table. And this is probably prime territory for him to be able to do that.
Yeah, Morgan hasn't got Enchantress in his roster, has he? But he has got MODOK.
Yeah, he does have Enchantress.
He does have Enchantress. I mean, so he's got a few options for maybe trying to control control Thanos a bit if he does see the big old Thanos boy.
Yeah, 17's really awkward for Brotherhood to fit Modok in, so it's unlikely you'll have Modok.
Then maybe Enchantress, and again, she's good at stealing a scroll, so she's got some use there on the extract
Yeah,
side
so
as well.
maybe Enchantress Okoye.
So what you're thinking of something like Magneto, Mystique, Toad, Enchantress, Koye. Is that 17?
Yep.
Who on here is good at maths?
Yeah, that's 17, I believe. The basic, the 11, and then 6. Yep, 17.
Okay, so that's one possible roster. As a Brotherhood player, is there anything else that you'd like to see? I mean, Lockjaw is the new shiny in Brotherhood, isn't he? So could
Yeah.
you see maybe Valk Lockjaw instead, rounding out that 17?
Gotta wonder
Or is
how
that
hard
not-
he's gonna work to
Ooh.
put that dog in.
Hmm.
Yeah, it depends. He might drop Toad and take Taskmaster. You never know.
Yeah, which means he's only got, what, 5 to play with, so then he could squeeze a Modok in.
Yeah,
But then he hasn't got the Lockjaw to enable them.
yeah.
Hmm.
I like the fact that we have a Skrull working as a hot dog vendor today down here. There he is.
Or is it an ambassador?
Yeah, I think they're supposed to be political, right? So, I guess the ambassador got tired of the go-go bar, so he walked across the street for a hot dog. I like creating these funny scenarios for how the table is supposed to, or for how the scenario is supposed to go in my head.
Yeah, I haven't heard how they've talked them talking about this size 5 building. So it's a slightly odd building. It's got a jutting out bit, and
Yeah.
typically, I think people are tending to play it as the shadow of the building is the building, and ignore the bit of the sign, the lady's leg that's sticking out.
Right.
I think is
I think that's what
typically
we
how
saw last game between
Yeah.
Pat and excuse me. Oh man, Hellcannon.
And yeah, that's certainly a conversation I had with my opponent before our game. And like, yeah, let's use the shadow as shadow. I mean, it makes top-down view. I find that to be really clean for judging whether things are on the train or off the train.
Right. I think that's pretty good. But like, it's a flimsy neon sign. I could see going either way with it, but I think it's cleaner and simpler to play it as a cube-shaped. This leg jutting out could probably only cause some strife and problems, so maybe best to go without. And, I'm going to be using like a third-person over-the-shoulder camera for the stream. I find that I've heard viewers say that they do like that, so we'll use that for now. If anyone has any strong objections, let me know for next time, maybe. Right, so, my prediction. I guess I need to break this tie, right? Because you guys are on one side and the other?
I mean, I feel like this setup feels like it's going to favour that, and the lack of terrain as well feels like it would favour Thanos' team.
Yeah, I would think so. Ooh, we got cards coming out. So let's
Enchantress
see.
Okoye.
It is Enchantress Okoye, and it is She-Hulk Okoye Thanos. Yep. Okay, nailed it.
Yeah, that's basically the list I would run. I don't always run magnetic refraction, but
Then we got on the other side. We've got Magneto, Mystique, Toad, Enchantress, and Okoye. Okoye showing up on both sides here.
It's almost like he's really good.
Yeah.
Well,
Magnetic
what we've got
refraction,
here,
deception, asteroid M, all you've got, and field dressing.
what we've got here is an opportunity for Morgan to pay back last season's final.
That's right.
He's got Okoye and he's facing down a Thanos. So, there's only one way this can end. Okay, he's definitely muted. It's good that he can't hear us. Otherwise, he would have definitely risen to that comment. So he's definitely not listening to us.
That's good. You gotta test the waters a little bit. That or he's got an excellent poker face.
Okay. So Suzume's got priority, and it's going to be putting down the first model. Yeah.
Thanos front and center.
yeah.
And no one is surprised. Okay, so if you're the Brotherhood player, how quickly are you trying to take out She-Hulk? Is She-Hulk your number one priority for attrition?
I think I might pull out Okoye first, honestly. I think she's a lot easier to daze and or KO, and I think that she could be a linchpin, and forcing that player down to 2 activations a turn instead of 3 activations a turn could be something that slides the favor in your direction.
Yeah, no, I can see that. I do think that Okoye is going to be glued to She-Hulk, and with it's a lot of bodyguards. You've got Okoye with the ability to bodyguard, and She-Hulk with the ability to bodyguard.
Mm-hmm.
Largely going to be Suzume Leaf who is going to be deciding who gets attacked. Especially with the A-Force leadership, which Thanos really likes getting extra power. He's got great base.
Certainly does. Yes, no end to the amount of power he can spend, I think.
Yeah, this is going to be brutal with a combination of Magneto popping off and then She-Hulk boosted with death decrees from Thanos. Yep.
Yeah, we're in for a slugfest, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, one more time
Yeah.
for the crisis and threat for those watching. If you're just tuning in, we're going to play at 17 threat today, I believe, right? And there's going to be 2 crises. You can see them on top on the broadcast. They are the Skrulls infiltrate world leadership is the extract crisis we're playing with, and Demons Downtown has our comeuppance come due. You're welcome. And 17 points, like I said. So.
Yeah.
Scrolls.
This building's in an awkward place here for him.
Let's do.
Scrolls, just a reminder. It's one of the lesser played crises, so just a refresher in case you're not remembering that. That's the one where you need to flip it like the alien ship, and you need to roll a crit in order to find the scroll. So you move up to one of the 3 scrolls deployed across the center, pay a power, roll 2 dice, and if you roll a crit, you find it, and the others get taken away. If you're holding the scroll, then you can't move faster than slow. So
that's good to remember, because some of these single extracts, and one of the reasons people shy away from them is that they usually come with a debuff involved.
Yeah, Panic's weird in that it doesn't, but all the others. So the speed.
Plus with the scrolls needing this crit, sometimes it doesn't even happen until turn 5.
And boy, when it does, it can really upset the status quo.
Yeah.
Though that the reality gem on Thanos increases his chances because skulls also count as crits, including on interact rolls.
Looks like we got a magnetic construct going down, so I think the players are probably done with deployment, moving on to their first power phase. And tow it along behind that car, I guess.
So, because Magneto is slightly off center, what you see quite commonly is Magneto right in the middle, and then having a kind of a backstop to prevent pushes and throws and things. It looks like Morgan's just putting out a construct as an extra piece of throw terrain and trying to keep it relatively safe so that he's got access to it. But someone like She-Hulk doesn't, or he's not fielding any size 3 characters, so it's not at risk of any of his characters destroying it by being thrown by Thanos, one of Thanos' attacks.
Mm. Yeah, because Thanos can throw off his punch, or he can throw as a result of his punch, excuse me. I think that the other interesting thing is... oh no, I had something and then I lost it. I'm sorry. It'll hit me again, I'm sure. Well, we might have
one of the things
hired muscle coming out.
Yes, hired muscle. These decoys are civilians. So the hired muscle can pull 2 of them closer, and you can choose the middle one and sort of either side and pull them closer. Looks like he's going for the one that's opposite Toad, meaning that if Toad does find it, he's a little bit further up. So a really simple play would be to run Toad up to relative safety within range 2, because you can interact with them within 2.
That's right. So I think that the trick that we're seeing here is that if you have a medium range tool, it's basically the exact measurement that you need to stand somewhere, and then once the token comes towards you after the range 2 movement, it should be within range to interact with.
Yes. One thing I've noticed seeing Leaf play before is that he is very, very good at measurements. I've learned a lot from him actually about how to use movement tools better just by watching some of his games. So just seeing that he's positioned those tools so that he can interact with the center decoy and move the other decoy. So he's used those two tools in a really effective way there to figure out exactly where Thanos should end up after his second of 3. Remember, he's got the time stone.
That's right, and it's free for him. Yeah, normally characters got to pay for the time stone to use the extra action, right? But Thanos can use one of his Infinity Gems every single turn for free. So there's a chance that he, pays one of his 3 power that he starts with, pulls the tokens in. He can interact with both of them and then walk away if he wanted to.
Yep. And after rolling it,
So
he's the skull. It counts.
Yep, he's in a perfect spot there.
I think he's a little too far to the left side. I'm not sure he's going to get within range to interact with the right side one, but maybe that's not the goal.
That's not the plan. If he doesn't get the one in the center, he can then move to the one on the right.
Yeah, because he's got a third action.
Yeah, of course. So he's got more leeway.
And the third power.
Yeah.
So he's got exactly what he needs. I think he could even have put that decoy a little bit further back towards his deployment line, but I don't think it makes a big difference. So he's rolling in against that interact, so paying 1 to interact. Nothing doing on the first one.
Nope.
So we'll probably see him move now behind this one.
There you go. I heard the time gem.
Here we go.
And it's interesting to note while the skulls do count as crits here when Thanos is rolling them. This roll is not based on any one of your character's stats. It's just a 2-die roll for whoever it is that you're using currently. So Thanos isn't any better stats-wise rolling against these than any other character might be. He just has the advantage with the reality gem, like you were talking about.
Interesting the side he chose. He's chosen to go on the side with the big size 5. I wonder if he's looking for some protection against Magneto throwing stuff.
Oh, look,
It was
there's
Morgan
the
that chose
skull.
sides, right? Oh, the skull.
He got it with the skull.
Whew.
Yep.
That's
So
going to set the pace for this game for sure.
for sure. So
First
what that means
activation.
now is Thanos is one of the hardest characters in the game to daze.
Yeah.
And especially when the reality jumps on him. So he's very likely to score 2 victory points from that, and he only needs to score 1 flaming portal, probably with a Koye sitting on it. And then he's got 3 VPs to his opponent's 2, and all game he's going to be scoring 1 more until they can either secure all 3 portals or get the scroll off Thanos. Now,
Here comes
other
the
reason-
Mystique deception play to try and put him in.
yeah, it looks like she's probably just out of range. Of
Yeah,
a
it looks
single
like she'll
move.
have to double move,
Double
but
move.
I think it's still probably
might-
worth it for her.
Yeah, I'd say so, and I think she can probably end up sitting on the portal as well and scoring, or at least threatening to score a VP on that central portal. She might end up with a She-Hulk in the face, but I don't think that's necessarily the worst person to draw out the special delivery play.
Yeah, I think that there's a case, or there's a chance here if Suzume's allowed to pass, and there's going to be ample opportunity for that. If Thanos takes a point of damage anywhere, you could suddenly see, Okoye. Oh, Rocket Boots is free, isn't it? Man. So Okoye is already primed to be able to just run on in there and drop She-Hulk off.
I mean, the other thing is if Mystique ends up too far forward, and Okoye can get a shot off, even if it doesn't do any damage. So it's
Yeah, it
unlikely
can yield
to
a power.
And you yield the power, and then you can run her over and bodyguard Thanos. So I would be cautious how far forward I'm putting someone.
I'm always when I play this game, I'm usually attempting to be cautious about overextending. I have a history in playing War Machine, and man, the amount of games that I've had robbed out from under me with those assassination runs from way downtown. Just glue your most important pieces to the table as far away from your opponent as you can.
So I think what the deception play is probably going to be looking at is a last activation Enchantress. So Enchantress is currently on 2 power. It's not an action for her to kiss off an extract token, so she can double move if she gets to within range 1 of Thanos with her double move. And remember, she's a flyer, so she's not slowed by this big piece of size 5 in the middle of the board. then she can spend 3 power to steal those 2 VPs, and that completely changes the whole shape of the game if that happens. Now,
Mora's Kiss costs
is
3,
then
though.
correct, but we're in Brotherhood here, so all that needs to happen is Magneto needs to throw one thing
There you
at
go.
some
Yeah,
point.
I was
and
leading you to it.
there's a cheeky size one here he could throw, and if Toad's not in the way, he could probably throw it into the lamppost and just give out 1 free power to himself and to Mystique for Asteroid M as well.
You probably want to give out 3. You want to refund 1 on Magneto
Yeah,
and give 1 to Enchantress. So
yeah,
ideally, you
but if
throw a
Mag,
size 2
yeah,
into a size 1.
but that leaves him with 2 power. Then if he only throws the size 1, then he's moved up to here into the middle with Mystique, and then from there he can start laying into Thanos with 2 attacks, throw some cars, and hand out the extra power needed.
Yeah. Interestingly, Leaf Suzume has chosen not to bring Brace. He's opted for Medpack as one of his restricted cards.
Now, for Deception, isn't it you move... Oh, because the Skull's forcing him to move slow now, isn't it? So he doesn't get as much distance.
Yep, that's right.
Which is some nice sort of protection for this particular crisis. But it's still Thanos is right in the center of the board where he's going to want to be anyway to score these portals, which is the backup plan for if he doesn't manage to get the scroll of Thanos for whatever reason.
That's right.
But that's looking very much like a double move. Kiss will work. I think that's probably the backup plan though, because that leaves Enchantress right next to Thanos, within range 1 of Thanos, and Thanos is going to have priority, and She-Hulk's going to be not very far away from there as well.
Right.
So that Enchantress is going to be pretty unhappy. And Thanos is both Thanos and She-Hulk generate enough power that they don't care about her pay to ignore to bring her defenses down to 2, so she won't stand up very well. So I think that would even be a play that I can see not happening round 1, and maybe just positioning Enchantress so that Enchantress could potentially do that round 2, move, kiss, move away, and just be a little bit safer.
Yeah, it's a slow scoring crisis, so there's no rush, is there?
And she'll build the extra power at that point. So she could even move in, kiss, take the token on round 2, and also push Thanos away with the extra 2 power she gets from being an Asgardian.
Now Okoye's got the ability to move up because of where Thanos has been placed, to move up, and will probably be within 3 of within 3 of Mystique, so she can pop off a shot and bodyguard, get the power from the shot as a bodyguard. So yeah, that's looking very nice. There's a lovely spot there by a car, maybe even generating some cover.
Wow. It's all coming up Millhouse. Yeah, that looks pretty well in to me from where I'm sitting.
Yep, I think that's a really nice spot to land, but Leaf is very precise with his templates. Thinks a lot about it, and he knows sort of the exact length of the medium move stick to that's 5 1/8 inches or whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
It's around about 5 inches. I can't remember whether it's slightly more, slightly less, but it's an element which can really help, particularly in TTS, knowing better where exactly the gaps between different movement tools. And
Koye's putting on the rocket boots.
Whoa. An interesting opening play here.
Okay, so an interesting decision that he was saying was the choice between he's moved to Koye to be within range 2 of She-Hulk, but further forward, because that will generate some extra distance for She-Hulk to get in towards the rest of Morgan's team.
Mm-hmm.
The opportunity cost there is the bodyguard's not going to be online. Not only is she not going to get the attack, but she's also going to spend a power on special delivery. So the bodyguard also won't be online for Okoye next round either, because she's going to spend down to 0. She's not going to make any attacks this round, and she's going to then generate up to 1. So that's 2 turns of bodyguarding that he's foregoing to do this play. So it's quite a significant cost. But
well, we have to remember A-Horse leadership, right? Because if anyone takes damage, suddenly Okoye can start getting power much more quickly.
Very true. Yeah, and with only 3 characters to distribute to, and remember, when you take damage on a character, you can't give it to that character. So they're going to be there's not many characters to power up.
Right, but even 1 power can can really change the math on some of these scenarios that we're talking about.
For sure. And Okoye particularly, she's got this threshold, but once you get her to 2 power, she can often be self-fulfilling because she bodyguards, takes damage from it, and then she's got enough power to bodyguard again.
Right.
It's interesting because Suzume's not even looking to go for the demon portals. He's just keeping his 2 points and maybe looking just to kill.
Well, She-Hulk might go and try and get one, but I think that's once he's got a guaranteed 2, that's not awful.
Yeah, that would put the pressure on, you know, it. Wow.
So a bit of a whiff there from She-Hulk. 2 hits into 2 blocks. And Mystique's counting blanks, so 3 blocks. Yeah,
So 3 blocks, yep.
So no power generation there from She-Hulk, but I don't fancy Mystique's odds.
There's 2 more uppercuts coming.
Yeah. And there's a tasty-looking car there that might get thrown as well.
The other thing that I actually really like about this positioning here is that we were just talking about the Amora's Kiss play. While being right next to She-Hulk like that does have disadvantages and putting you clumped up for an Enchantress Beam attack potentially, it's going to make it a lot harder for Enchantress to be able to stand within range 1 of Thanos the Mad Titan to pull off that kiss.
I always thought standing on top of the clubhouse is better because another one of Enchantress's weaknesses is throws, and if she's standing on top of terrain, particularly size 5 terrain that they've got no way to destroy, that's a great way of protecting her from throws.
Sure
so
is.
That you can't throw a tar at her because it will collide with the building first.
That's right.
So I would always have been looking to put Enchantress on that building. Which
you
is
make a good
still,
point. She could be up on top of the building and still be within range 1. I think
that's what I would do.
Yeah, any amount of space denial next to the holder of that scroll could come in handy, though.
So, I think the question now is, how do you get the power given that Mystique hasn't taken damage? Mystique's only on 1 power. He doesn't have the power set up currently to Asteroid M Magneto and start the Magneto blows up the world plan. So it's going for a nice safe double move turn onto the back portal play. Seems like a good plan.
Yeah, it's a good good move to take up time and give yourself a point. That's right.
Yeah, throwing the size 1 into the size 1 is the only way on turn 1 really to get Magneto without someone giving you power to use Asteroid M.
And Enchantress does have a throw, but it's a 3 power throw, so she hasn't got it online yet.
Not like Valkyrie.
No, Valkyrie or someone like Vision is great for just turning on Brotherhood round 1. But I think we're going to see...
I'm sure Mystique's going to take some damage.
Maybe, but she needs to still be standing in order to play...
yeah, she's going to take that damage all at once, unfortunately.
I mean, she is 3 dice counting blanks, and having seen Okoye a lot, and that can be really good. So maybe she survives, but I'm not expecting her to.
And she's got more health than Okoye does at base, right? No reroll naturally, but it's okay.
No, she's 5. I think I probably want Okoye's reroll because that reroll into blanks is just so good.
Yes, very good. Saved her life so many times for me.
So select all 3 of them, basically using the basic window control and then selecting all 3. And then you can.
Art's just so we've got a table judge here of Art Art, who's one of our accusers. He's also in the channel, so if you're hearing a
third strange voice, that's right.
Yeah, third strange voice. That's who it is, and they're just giving some advice on not rules. I think that was more logistics of navigating TTS.
Yeah, okay. I think there was some mention of having movement tools in play. I don't have Art turned up very high for the stream, so.
Yeah, he was just explaining actually how to control multiple tools at the same time and get your character where you want them.
Yeah. So interestingly, Leaf is playing very defensively. He's choosing to throw Mystique away and not do any damage to her. So again, it's not going to turn on the Asteroid M play.
And it gets her out of position. She's not a good beacon anymore.
Yeah. We talked before about how he only needs to have 1 point in order to be scoring 3 and to Morgan's 2. for as long as Thanos is holding the scroll.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at the minute, She-Hulk isn't contesting, but this looks like that's kind of the game plan is, well, I think now that Toad's gone as well, no one is fast enough to double move up to the Flaming Portal, the far one. So the most that Morgan can score is those two for the Flaming Portals. And so even though Leaf won't be scoring any secures, he's also not getting incinerated. He's not, I mean, it may be Enchantress. There's an interesting play there where you walk someone onto a portal to give away a VP, but to incinerate them for helping make it better for taking them out later in the game.
And with only 3 characters to use, you're not going to want to spend your actions shaking.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's worth it on Thanos because he's got 3 actions, but probably still then you've got better things you can be doing.
Yeah. I mean, I think Thanos might be like the one that it's best to have incinerated because he's got that natural damage reduction. He always shaves off a point, doesn't matter how many dice you're rolling.
That's true, but it's always better not to be.
Certainly. Having more
like
numbers
he's
is definitely good.
Mystique again.
Okay, right, he is actually doing an attack into Mystique. He considered the throw, and he might still do that.
This roll looks better.
But he has gone for a big punch.
Yeah, it was 7 dice to start with.
Two damage
versus
through.
2.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 minus 2 is 2.
Mystique will be slowed, which is always sad on a long mover. She's already slowed from the first time that She-Hulk did.
Yeah, that was another comment that came up last time, is that She-Hulk's uppercut slows no matter what. It doesn't require damage, it doesn't require wilds, it's just always slow. So
second up coming in.
Doing it again.
There's another crit to roll. Oh boy.
Well, Morgan's got 2
Mystique
crits.
is living up to her Okoye
Again.
inheritance from the flanks.
And 4 blocks from the
So
flanks
4
count.
blocks.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Mystique.
It's not going to end up doing damage at all.
It's not, but then he's paying 3 to throw her back,
Yep.
which he's already measured. Toad is already on this portal, so throwing Mystique back on doesn't give away any victory points, but it does incinerate her, which is a really nice extra thing.
That's right.
Now, Magneto does have an option to Asteroid M right next to Mystique, where he's out of incineration range and in sort of good range to start doing things to some of Leaf's team.
Yeah, he might be within 3 of She-Hulk there.
Yeah, I don't hate that. Especially because even if he's within 3 of She-Hulk, right? He can then, if he deals damage, he can push, right? So he can end up not having to use Enchantress, but end up just pushing She-Hulk onto a point.
He doesn't actually have to do damage. He just gets the automatic push.
Oh man, I'm thinking of Doctor Strange. I'm sorry. Good call.
So it'd be interesting to see if Morgan sends anyone to that center portal because Leaf is all acted out.
It's scary.
So standing that close to She-Hulk with a Thanos behind her and being incinerated, whoever comes up here is going to be in some pain. I think you can position them outside of 2 of She-Hulk, but then Thanos can move people around very happily. So I wouldn't hate Okoye coming up here and double moving onto that center point, and she's going to be the bodyguard for Magneto next round. She'll be on 2 power by then. So she can take a hit. She'll be incinerated, but if she's taking a hit from She-Hulk, then she's counting blanks, and it can work well for her.
Yeah, I think
so I wouldn't hate Okoye being the person on that flaming portal.
And it's certainly a speed bump that it shields Magneto. That even if the attacks kill or daze Okoye, it's still achieving the goal, but taking the pressure off of Magneto and letting him run the table in the center, hopefully.
I think it's going to take quite something for Magneto to run the table, but Magneto taking out She-Hulk over the course of 2 rounds, I don't think is that unreasonable.
Yeah. Well, like you said, it's the game plan is that Magneto blows up the world. Anything that enables him to do that is gravy.
So, looks like Morgan's doing some measuring. So he's looking at a short move. Yeah. Template's kind of the other way around. So he's looking at just pulling in She-Hulk maybe with a short move, and then
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Looks
yeah.
like you can get there with a single move.
Yep.
From the
And that
top
means
down,
that
that looks
she'll be able-
pretty good.
Yep, she'll be
Yeah.
able to get a beam off as well, and might even
Level
catch
3
Okoye and
or
Thanos in the
top
beam,
floor
possibly.
to get the top-down view.
Well, her beam's range 3, right? So if he's just
Yep.
getting within 3, I think that.
Base size as well to add to it, and She-Hulk's base is a bit bigger actually, so maybe that wouldn't work.
We have an interesting pseudo measurement here, because a single small base is around the size of 1 inch, give or take a couple millimeters. So
Yeah.
I think
Not sure how I feel about that. I think I would be inclined to say that he's using that as a proxy, which is against certainly the spirit, if not the exact letter of the law, in terms of the rules.
yeah, well, that's what we have art here for. So if it's
Yep, and
if it's a
ultimately,
standout,
Table Judge is his call, and Art seems happy with it.
yeah, I think perhaps the argument could be made that you're saying, oh well, I want to see who she's within range 1 of to take a token off if I put her down over here.
I mean, yes, she does have an ability that's range 1, so of all the characters you could pick, she was one of the ones you could make that argument for.
Right.
So,
I don't know
I
how
think
valid it is. It doesn't make it any better, right?
I would be looking over my glasses at you when you said that.
Exactly. I can see your stare boring into me.
It's that teacher stare.
Yes. Oh, I know that well. My wife is a teacher.
Yeah. It's really interesting to see the amount of measuring that they are doing, and this is kind of a feature of some of the players who make the top cut, is that they do spend a good time measuring and looking at the possibilities. When I find myself in a sticky situation, I just go and I'm going to measure everything on everyone. So when I'm struggling to know exactly what my plan is, and I need to pull something out the bag, I'll go, right, what are all my options? What can this character do? What can this character do? That's probably out of range, but let's measure it anyway. And I check all the possibilities.
That's right. Knowing what's possible, knowing what's in range is definitely something. It builds your information bank, and then you can use that to make better informed decisions. I think that you're right. That is a big part of seeing these top level players participate. Just they measure things that I'd never even think of to measure, and you don't see these plays because you're. Sometimes you get tunnel vision. I know that when I play, I'm like, yeah, I'll move like twice. That looks like it's in. Maybe I'll adjust it a little bit, but I don't come anywhere near the amount of information building that these guys do.
So Enchantress is moving up, and Siren's calling in, bringing in She-Hulk. I wonder what Magneto's going to do.
Yeah, he's going to pull it. He's going to shoot it first time, then pull it nice and close to get the rerolls.
Yep, and then he's probably going to throw that lovely size 3 comic store he's standing right next to. It's the biggest bit of terrain on the map that he's got access to. So Morgan very wisely put it within his easy reach, knowing he had Deception and Siren's Call to pull in somebody to throw it at. And knowing he wouldn't be facing Brace as well.
Yeah. Do you think we're going to get a shot from Enchantress, or do you think she's got other plans?
No, I think he's worried about climbing gear. She-Hulk.
Going to try and body block her from getting away?
Looks like he's sending Enchantress to go and score the point.
Yeah, if he shoots She-Hulk and does damage, he could give her the power to climbing gear away.
No,
it's true. Can't sap because she doesn't start with anything.
I do want, all of his characters are out of power, so there's no sapping going on. I wonder whether Morgan's going to live to regret this, because a 1 dice Enchantress is not particularly sturdy.
No.
I think maybe he's got plans. Maybe he bodyguards away to Okoye, and that's got some really nice. The synergy between the Enchantress pay for power and the bodyguard, that works really well. Just in case anyone's not aware of that, you declare attack against Enchantress, and then you decide whether you're going to pay the power, and then the Enchantress player gets to decide whether they're going to bodyguard. So they can go, you didn't pay the power, I'll take it on Enchantress. You did pay the power, well done for wasting 2 power. I'm going to bodyguard that to Okoye.
Yeah, it's such a dirty little play, but it's great.
Just as planned.
Yeah. So maybe that's Morgan's plan. Okoye is going to end up within 2 of Enchantress, but not within 1 of the Flaming Portal.
Enchantress is Cabal, right? That sounds like a Hydra thing to do.
She definitely is.
Got a roll happening.
Okay,
So
it
it
looks like
the
we're
first
going
attack-
with Magneto. Magneto is doing his, yeah.
This is not. One crit.
Yep, no damage there, but he does still get to pull in.
It's a
and
pull,
this is
so
a
he's going to have to be
push,
push,
careful.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. But I think he's going to try and get within one of the portal.
Thread the
So she's
needle
hex for next.
between
Yeah.
the character and the object there.
That'd be quite fun, actually, yeah, to try and get her within one of the portal, so that you still score the portal, but you manage to incinerate She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Looks like
Well, that would be my plan anyway.
Yeah, I like that plan. I like that plan a lot.
Button on the move button. In the middle. Yeah. Oh, yeah, cool. Yep. Yeah. That way she's always the center of the line, so you can measure any collisions. If you
Okay, so now face to face with Magneto. I'm sure Magneto won't come off worse for wear next round, but with rerolls this time, 1 crit and 3 blank, so we'll see a good number of rerolls.
Oh, She-Hulk's not blocked any,
yeah.
so this could hurt.
This is
Yeah.
this is all numbers here.
Generate some power, which is then going to get invested in some throws.
I mean, I recognize that he may have had to sacrifice Enchantress to to build some points up here, but I do like this play because, you know, normally you are lamented about Magneto, you know, not going anywhere or, you know, being stuck on your back line or something, but with the Asteroid M, he's not stuck there at all.
So I think Magneto's throwing a comic store at She-Hulk. I doubt she'll find it very funny.
No, I laugh, but
It's
you know,
actually-
taking a building to the face is nothing small.
The other thing is as well with She-Hulk being down here, he's forcing She-Hulk to activate first next turn.
And she might also be out of 4 of Thanos, so she might not be in Death's Decree range.
Yeah. And that's Koye
so-
might even come over and bodyguard for Magneto now.
So 1 block from She-Hulk takes another 3 damage. Hands out some power, so Thanos and Okoye have generated some extra power, and She-Hulk is on 7 damage, and therefore 7 power.
Who has he been building power with? Looks like 1 went to Okoye and 1 went to Thanos from A-Force leadership.
Yep.
That's it.
Will he
So
throw
Thanos
his
will be on-
construct as well?
On 4,
Thanos will be on 4 next
Yep,
round.
he's
Yeah.
going to throw the construct as well.
might get to 5 power with Thanos. I was concerned that Thanos could have enough power to climb and gear himself forward during She-Hulk's activation, and then
So-
have the power left over to do the extra 2 dice on her attack. If he gets to 5, that's going to be possible.
So it's always interesting as to the construct and when you choose to use it and when you want the power from it. Morgan's chosen to use it, and that's got an extra damage through. So one costing, so opportunity cost of 1 power for 1 damage. Maybe that's good. She-Hulk's getting on for done. 40% done. So certainly, if he doesn't activate with She-Hulk first next round, then Magneto is going to be doing some serious work into her.
That's right. Not incinerated, but you know he's still capable of putting out a lot of hurt.
Yeah, the 6 reroll any is such a good attack. It's like the equivalent of about 9 dice, roughly mathematically. It's just
Yeah, it hurts getting hit by that at close range.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering
I mean,
to see who he's going to pass that power to. I think they're still resolving the throw damage and everything.
Well, no, he can't pass
he's-
any more power. He's given 1 to Thanos and 1.
He's thinking
Oh,
about
yes, of
climbing
course.
gear, I believe.
That's fine. I think we save Medpack for now.
So he was considering climbing gear.
Or Medpack.
Medpack requires an activation, right?
Yeah, that's what I believe.
Yeah,
it has to
during
be
the
the
character's
active
activation.
Yeah, so Morgan's just measuring out. Okoye is within 4 of She-Hulk, so just double tap on She-Hulk is an option. It's just,
Yeah, he's
just
moving
power.
up to bodyguard, I believe.
He's doing a lot of measuring. It's interesting though. He's not going for the Enchantress bodyguard that we talked about, and that's going to leave Enchantress very vulnerable, which means
She's a juicy
that
target in there, in the middle of the
Yeah.
board there.
Yeah,
If
but
you
like I
daze
said,
her-
if he doesn't activate She-Hulk first next round, it's likely Magneto's going to KO her, isn't he? Or daze her.
you've got the option of maybe running Okoye down there to bodyguard that. and then maybe if she's within 2 of Magneto as well, then she gets counts blanked. It's possible she survives.
I think
Super likely, I don't think,
I
but
like the kind of the pinch situation that he's setting up here, right? Because he's saying, I'm going to do serious work to She-Hulk if you don't activate her, but
yeah, it's
if
awesome.
you do activate her, I might have a chance to steal this token from Thanos.
Yeah,
So,
he's going to double beam them.
Koya is shooting She-Hulk. She-Hulk's got no blocks. With the reroll, Koya gets 2 hits, so She-Hulk is half dead.
10.
There is a med pack available.
Power on Thanos.
He's going to have to
Thanos
get her back
is
first.
catching up. Well, he's got climbing gear. I mean, typically, I think you want to use climbing gear on Thanos, but looking at how closely clustered everyone is, I'm not sure he's going to need to. Okay, so
The other
that's the
thing to
round.
consider is that if he's able to open with Magneto on She-Hulk, all you've got could, spell her days at this point. So we go to round 2. It looks like it's going to be 2 for each player. We've got
Yep.
2 from the Skrull token being held by Thanos and 2 from Flaming Portals on the other side.
Yep, they just got to do the rocket boost.
Oh, right. A wild.
Wild.
I think it's a skull that
Move
stuns you,
short.
isn't it?
Yeah, but I think she might get an advance. If she wants, she can get a free short advance,
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah, I think she's safe, actually. She gets the advance, right?
Yep, she gets the advance, and she does have flight still, so she can go up on the building, so she can go straight towards She-Hulk.
Flight from rocket boots lasts till the end of the round. Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yep.
They're just questioning whether she does still have flying. She should. Yep, and Art's confirmed that.
She can easily get on top of the building and do the...
Yep, she's going
she gets
up
cover
on the
then.
building. Yep, absolutely. So she's in bodyguard range of Thanos. She means she can easily move. She can easily move off the building if she wants to get in bodyguard range of She-Hulk. It's just a nice little extra.
Yeah, I mean, with the situation being created, it certainly is one of the better outcomes here.
I think, yeah, definitely the best outcome for him there.
Of the 3, certainly.
So we're expecting a She-Hulk first activation, are we?
I believe so.
Am I missing something? Is there a reason Okoye was incinerated? Oh, it might have been a mistake. I think they accidentally dropped it on her instead of on Toad.
Yep. No, they've incinerated the right people.
Could you also flip the rocket boot card again so it turns up as you for the streamer view? Yes.
Oh, they're so kind to us. Watching out for those streamers.
So looking at the power, Okoye is on 4 power now. So Okoye is ready to field dress Magneto, and I believe Okoye is within 2 of Magneto. So you can see the awesome combo that is all you've got, and then at the end of the all you've got activation, healing straight away, taking that day's token away. Although,
yeah, Mystique's also on 4 as well, so he's got multiple options for it.
Yep.
So you can play that field dressing even on the same exact turn, even right after you daze from all you've got, because that doesn't happen at the end.
Nice. What the sequence is, you declare your second action, you finish second action, you give them an activated token, but your turn does not end until you say it does. So if you've got some other things that you can do which are not activations, then you can still do them. So you can play cards, like Disarm is a great example that you might want to do after you've seen the lay of the land. But another one is field dressing. Field dressing is an active card, so it has to be your activation, but it doesn't have to be during an activation.
Right, and normally, when you just get a character dazed, they're at their full health bar basically, and field dressing will shave off that 1 point. You wouldn't want to field dressing a character that was at full HP if enemy characters are still left to go. But in this case, Magneto's going to be at 0 damage on him. He peels that daze token off with field dressing, and he's raring to go again. It's like nothing ever happened.
He might even have magnetic refraction up still.
Yeah.
Which is still active if he plays it before he dazes himself.
It's still active if he does daze, yeah.
Yeah, it's because he's still on the table. You know, it's still aura.
Yeah, it's measured from him, but he's not actually doing a superpower or doing anything, is he?
Yeah, there's a number of effects like that, like Lockjaw's Bloodhound thing, the one that gives an extra dice, even if you daze Lockjaw,
Lockjaw, yeah.
then yeah, then it still triggers.
You know, even if you KO him, right? Because it's an effect that was put in play. It doesn't require him to still remain in play.
Yeah, same as Mystique's tokens from her leadership. Okay, so interesting.
Looks like
So I
we
think that is
She-Hulk through.
She-Hulk throwing
Uh,
Koye
Yeah,
into Toad.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what that's doing is that's putting some damage on Toad, a little bit of damage on Okoye, but mostly getting Okoye out of bodyguard range of Magneto.
It was close though.
Yeah, and we see that in a lot of games. If you can find a way to just move a Koye, it can often counter a lot of what she tries to do. She's just gonna scoot around the battlefield and get in range of things, but without being able to do that, it hurts.
So it takes 2.
Yeah, and damage to Toad is just gravy, I think.
Yeah, I don't think that's particularly.
It's not part of the plan, but if it happens, it's great.
It was all about moving the bodyguard, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He can now afford to hop, spit acid, and move away,
Oof.
for example. So he could put Incinerate on Thanos.
9 dice strike.
Okay, so this is a 9 dice strike. He's paid for
Superior weight
superior
training.
weight training. Yep.
Yeah, Magneto might look like he's big, but I think he's still only size 2.
Yeah, so he's outside of Death Decree range. 9 dice into into Magneto 6.
9 dice.
Right, Magneto paid the superpower to bump up his defense.
Why wouldn't you? It's not a great roll on 9 dice.
No,
It's not excellent for
pretty
Magneto
bad from. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. Okay, so I think those the luck's kind of evened out there.
Yeah,
3 damage. That seems a reasonable outcome from a 9 dice attack.
I would say so.
Uh,
You know, he built up to 10 dice with that superpower and the crit that he threw in there, but you know he yielded 4 hits out of 10. That's pretty okay, I think.
what really hurts is Magneto gets slowed, so now he can only move slow.
Wait a second.
No. It's all a.
I see what you did there.
We'll just pay 5 for the big spender.
And it's going.
And he's going to be...
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to stagger, right? Because he's already got the
Yeah.
slow condition on. This is living the dream with She-Hulk.
Uh,
The defense
Stun and
rests.
stagger.
You might.
Does this one have to deal damage?
Yes.
I got 4. Okay, just squeak 1 through.
one gets through. So
That's all he needs. So he's
Yeah.
stunned, staggered, and slowed.
It does damage.
yeah.
So I'm super glad that I got that point in. It is stun.
Oh boy. That's not great for Magneto. He wants to be able to build power from his attacks at range 2. And stagger on top of that means he can't afford to shake the condition. Well, he has to shake stagger. He can't afford to shake stun, or else he's effectively giving up his entire turn.
Yeah, but he's likely to shake it and then have his attack and then do the all you got.
Well, yeah, but he has to shake stagger. So
Yeah,
there's
but
no way
instead
he
of
can-
having 4 attacks, he's still going to get 3.
they're just going to be stunned. So he won't build that
Yeah.
massive amount of power that he could use to keep that freight train rolling and throwing stuff.
Yeah, he hasn't got a lot around him to throw, actually, though. It's like Jacob said, it's not the best map for Magneto.
No.
Wow, great attack from Magneto.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it certainly came back around. Like you said, it's almost like it's a 9 dice strike, right?
Oh,
Oh boy,
7 against 1, so she takes 6.
that's a big number.
And Magneto gains 1 power.
I mean, it would hurt if you didn't just deal 6 damage to She-Hulk.
So there's a size
We take
1
those.
and a size 2 construct.
2, yeah.
Yeah. If he was feeling
Yeah, all
really
you got.
really wanted to just deal with She-Hulk right now, then he could asteroid M to where there's like a size 2 car in range as well.
He's just gone for the all you got play.
Yeah, I think the Asteroid M movement might put him in range of the danger zone from Thanos, right?
Yeah.
She-Hulk's got 2
Okay,
crits.
so
That's a good roll.
Oof.
Good blocks. So 2 blocks from She-Hulk. And only 3 hits, so only 1 damage through. But that, you know what? He gains 1 power.
He does.
I'm on 3.
And he
So
hasn't
3
thrown
health.
anything just yet, right?
No.
Okay, so another one of these big 6 dice reroll everything.
Oh, he's got 2 crits. That's
2
big.
crit. Yep. 2 block. So he needs 3. So he needs, on his 4 rerolls, he needs 2. So 50% chance here of. He just misses it. If only he had some way of throwing some
Throwing.
stuff.
Wait, that's a thing
be
this
great.
character does? No.
Well, I don't know much
Aw.
about him in the
Here we-
comics, but
We've got 2 six threat leaders just facing off. This is a showdown of the Titans here. There goes the construct.
Right.
you know, do we feel like She-Hulk has got her value out of her? I feel like Morgan's done really well at. I mean, assuming that she does go down against these 2 throws that are coming in at her. Blocks the first one very nicely.
Wow.
We'll see.
He's got
he's
one
gonna
more
have
to go.
He's going to commit the construct, I reckon.
I
That
think that
was the
was the construct. All he's got left is
Yeah.
the bike at the
It
moment.
is the size 1, and that's all he's got enough power for. So it'll be 2 power to throw the size 1.
I mean,
He
it
would
still
have-
threatens 2 points of damage, so
There's nothing else. Oh, I don't think that card's in range, is it? No.
Oh, it's just out, yeah.
yeah, it
This
is
reminds me
gonna
of
be
my
the
game
moment.
against Pat. I had to throw a size 1 to kill She-Hulk, and she blocked it.
It's not the end of the world. I think, a spear blast from a Koye or something. He's got
Yeah.
plenty of ways of finishing her off.
Nope. Oh,
Oh,
There's a crit. Could be. Right, if he can spend those activations elsewhere, that'd be excellent.
that's She-Hulk.
That's She-Hulk down.
1 damage gets through.
So, yeah, what did she achieve? She
Not a lot.
No.
she distracted. She bought some time. But I think Morgan's done really well dealing with She-Hulk there. He's been very efficient. And he was lucky. Lucky? I don't know.
Yeah. I think
That's
he's
the
got to
numbers, but-
respond by taking Enchantress out right here. Because I think that if Enchantress is allowed to move and steal that token, it's going to be a lock on Morgan.
It's going to be a lot harder, certainly. So I think, Thanos brings the pain on Enchantress.
yeah. You wanna
And he might try to pull in Mystique for that days too.
Yeah, because all of his characters now have got enough power to field dress in Magneto. So
take out Enchantress? The answer is probably very fast.
Thanos 6 power.
Thanos is activating.
Yeah, with his 6 power, he's gonna knock a defense down to 2, and
Yeah. Cosmic Portaling in Enchantress into range 2. I imagine he'll line her up so that if he throws her, she bashes into that size 2 car behind her.
He's going
He's
to
also
move up to
he's
contest,
also-
it looks like.
no. I think what he wants to do is daze her and have her with next to the portal still, so that then she
Right.
gets incinerated again when she flips.
Or incinerated at the start of next turn. And just have terrible Enchantress level defenses instead.
Yeah, I think they were commenting the same thing we were just were and laughing about that themselves.
Yeah.
Moved him out.
It's a bit of a difference, right? But it's not big. So
Okay,
Thanos
so that's-
will then-
Yeah, I think they were talking about the difference between rolling 2 dice and rolling 1 is not monumental.
don't know. You asked Modoc.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
we saw that earlier today, didn't we?
Yeah,
Good chance he gets this back. So.
So this is Thanos likely punching
Yeah,
Enchantress.
6. Yeah, he's paid the power to reduce defenses.
You got a crit.
So blocks 1,
Two.
takes
and
2,
another one
gets
to be
thrown.
returned. Action 2 will do the same thing. Spend 2, punch again.
and he just throws her back into the vehicle short as well.
They're going
And
to
then
need
he's
to move her. They haven't moved her yet, but I'm sure they'll
Yeah.
get to that.
I think he might not be throwing her. He's just going to punch.
no.
Probably
No,
wants
he
to
said
build
he
more
was-
power.
Damage from the vehicle.
He said he was throwing her, then hitting her again because she will still be in range 2.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure Art
Oh,
will
I
jump
think-
in.
Can you guys
Or
please
get
resolve
placed.
the throw into the vehicle, please?
There we
Yeah.
go. There's Art.
There we
jumping
go.
in.
Speak of the devil.
It might be a minor thing, right? But it's
Game state.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, a very dazed Enchantress
Boy.
who's
Yeah.
standing next to Thanos, who's still got an action. I don't know what do you do with that action. I don't think you.
Do you
I
want to
don't think you
contest the
ideally
center? Do you
I mean,
walk away? Maybe he
What,
can make
walk
it.
back?
No, he can't make
If
it
you're
to the
gonna,
back.
if you're gonna score a point, I want to score. He can only make it to the
You
back.
just want to score your home point, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think that's where you would put him. So he's just far away from Magneto, and then you probably put Toad somewhere in the middle, so that you've got a nice asteroid M
Beacon.
target.
Yeah.
pay for the
Yeah, and maybe a Koye to try and keep Enchantress alive.
He didn't gain power. I didn't give him the power from the first attack. Instead, I just spent the 2 immediately. Okay, I was not sure anymore. I couldn't.
Oh, we have a conversation about what power was spent on those attacks
Yeah.
for ignoring
That's
defenses,
gameplay.
I think.
Yeah.
I think Art's just checking everything's where it should be. I think that's good judging, just to make sure that everything's clean. They did a bit where they, like, I gained 2, but I'm going to spend it straight away, so they didn't add it and then subtract it. So Art's just doing the right thing and making sure that everyone's happy with where the power levels should be.
That's right. And, that's really the best thing, especially when you have a game that, you got all the bragging rights on the line. The best thing is to just make sure that everyone is happy with, how things are going, because, the last thing you want is a game to end up with somebody somebody not having fun. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter who wins or loses at the end of the day, as long as you're enjoying your life and the games that you play and roll dice win.
Yeah, strongly agree with that. Although winning is probably more fun.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I love it. I love it, but not at the cost of making somebody miserable across the table.
Totally agreed. Totally agreed. One of my games, the last game, got me into the top cut. I was getting some ridiculous dice on my Doctor Strange defense rolls, and I was just saying to my opponent, "If you want to take a minute and just go and get a cup of water and clear your heads," just because he had Corvus teleporting across the board and doing nothing to Doctor Strange, and just I thought, well, I would
boy.
probably want. Yeah,
I need a moment.
I'd want to take a moment. So I just if you want to do that, go.
Yeah,
He was.
it's okay when both players' dice are on fire, but when one person's dice are on fire and the other person's just rolling nothing, it can be a bit depressing for that player.
Yeah. Just imagine if Hawkeye was to one activation.
Have
You'll
seen
forget that one day, I'm sure.
No, I won't.
There's a bit of a history here.
I've got to thank Wargaming Dad, because that was sort of the opening my eyes. I was already looking at pentagrams and doing silly stuff with Hulk, and I played in just Beth Splendon's league into Wargaming Dad, and he just completely ripped me a new one with MODOK and Hawkeye jumping through portals, and I've been riding that train ever since.
That's right. So have I, actually. So
Yeah.
we both have you to thank for crafting an idea that we could follow on for the next league.
No
here.
worries. I'm glad you're doing so well with it.
Yeah, I went 4-2 myself. So it looks like we've got Thanos marching up on top of the building, surveying all that he sees, and using his cosmic portal to move Mystique away from the rest of the engagement.
I think
I don't
Mystique was probably in field dressing range there, so
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
kind of staggering. That although her activations are not super impactful right now.
But she is slowed, so any amount of movement outside is going to be much more difficult
not
to get
wrong.
her back in.
And it's the best thing he could have done with that activation. There wasn't a particularly impactful thing I think that Thanos could have done there.
I was wondering, is there a world where we see someone move up to within range to field dressing Enchantress, and then Enchantress still steals that token this turn?
Ooh,
That's a really
spicy.
good. That's a really good shout.
We'll see. I mean, it might create the situation where
I think that's what Morgan's measuring actually. Look, he's got the short for Mystique going out.
Yep.
He's looking and kind of going, can I double short and field dressing? I
I
wonder
think he'll
then
just about make it.
he
What's he
would.
got left?
My concern would be that the counterplay to that is Okoye goes and tries to take out Mystique, which is not impossible.
right, because you wouldn't want to play the field dressing until Enchantress is ready to start moving.
You got it. Range 4. So there's a lot of places that Mystique can't really stand because 2 essentially 5 dice attacks into her 3s. It's pretty likely to do the 3 damage that's required.
Mm-hmm.
She's probably going to be outside of range 2, looking at that, so she's not going to get blanked on the attack.
The other thing, though,
Although,
is that he's got
maybe
2 other
push him in.
characters that could do that.
Yeah,
He could march
Toad.
up Mystique as a decoy, and then Toad could come in, and he also has the power to field dressing.
I think wouldn't you rather have Toad as the decoy? And I think that's what he's looking
Yeah.
at right now. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I think he was trying to guarantee if he uses Toad as a decoy, maybe I can still move Mystique in afterward.
Okay, yep.
And hey, look, he's going to try and get some cover with Toad, I think, and still be within
Yeah.
range 2. Looks like.
Toad's actually going for the far point. Look how he's going for the VP play. I'm surprised to see him hop onto the far point now.
Yeah,
Gonna see a hop.
I mean, there might be a world where, well, how much power does he have? Did he spend for the hop already?
He hasn't yet, but he's just measuring it now.
I think he has. We started with 5.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so I mean, he's 1 under, but that's not impossible. Any terrain that blows up can give him the power that he needs. Oh, he's
I thought
going
what
way
was
back
gonna
there.
Yeah. So he's just saying to the VP plays, going, right, well, I'm going to go ahead on VPs. I'm going to try and take all 3 of these portals. Toad looks like he's probably out of 4 of Okoye, so that Okoye would only be able to get 1 attack, even if that was a line that Leaf wanted to go down.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to move him away from Thanos.
I agree.
Do you think you wait for that player or that character to move to within 2 of Enchantress to activate your Okoye here? You probably want to hold her as long as possible to respond, right?
Yeah.
We're seeing a path going on here, and Morgan's doing some more measuring.
I think it's probably a pass, right?
I'd expect She-Hulk's about to disappear, but I'd expect Okoye to move within 2, score the point, and be a potential field dressing for Magneto.
Yep. Well, I think it looks like we're doing a double move from Mystique to get back to that same location that you were just talking about with Okoye.
Yep. So, interesting, because I feel like Thanos is going to... I feel like Okoye standing on that point and being at a point where when Magneto gets ported in, he's got more chance of being within 2, so sort of off at an angle, 45 degrees towards Thanos, full range. I think maybe that would have kept Magneto a bit safer.
Yeah, I think he's just lining up 2 options for field dressing on the last turn. Like you say, Mystique's just a bit of bait.
I think someone was saying in the chat room that it looked like Mystique did a double move. She could have accomplished much the same thing if she had taken an action to shake her slow and then walked along.
I think that's a missed trick there from Morgan. You're not wrong.
Oh, I didn't point that out. You can thank Whiskey Warlord and Utility Cookie were talking about that.
What does Utility Cookie know about anything?
This guy. I don't know. I'm a big fan of cookies. They have utility in my life.
Very touchy.
I heard he was running that Portals list as well before anyone thought it was any good.
Yeah, he was. Did well with it, got into the finals.
Yeah, there was a game between Utility Cookie and Morgan last season, I think. I actually had to go against Morgan. I rewatched that game to see what Doctor Strange did against Morgan's Wakandans.
Have you watched it 60 odd times?
No. I think you're talking about turn 0, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, Koye is moving to get a shot off into Toad. Maybe spikes hugely and takes him out, and then that's parity on VPs.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this still leaves her within range to bodyguard if necessary.
Yeah, so he moved and then he checked, and if it had been out, I'm sure he would have moved back rather than take the attack.
I think I just saw him spend 2 power for a Death's Decree here.
6 dice into Toad.
That helps. And with the reroll as well, so it's kind of a 7 dice attack.
There's a crit.
Yep.
Oh, wow. 2
Oh,
blocks from Toad.
Toad, 2 blocks. He's going to live. He could actually Slippery here to get in closer as well.
I like that Slippery is
not
able to move Toad in any direction, right?
Yeah. He won't have the power, though, to field dressing Enchantress, but...
Just thinking about Slippery and closer. I think that's not an awful play, getting in the other side of the portal, getting cover from the car is pretty good when you're just sitting there on 1 health left.
Certainly
Oh, he's
makes
actually
it a lot harder to chip that 1 damage in.
So
Yeah.
he is
He is-
slippery, and he's going to try and just get max range. I think I'd probably take the cover, but maybe that's
Maybe he thinks he can get out of range.
I mean, he was probably already out of range 4 of Thanos, so I don't think he's changed that by moving.
I think next turn he's not important compared to the other targets that are.
I
threatening.
agree, but being a bit closer means he could spit acid over there and incinerate Thanos. That could be relevant.
Here we go. Yeah, he's gonna field dressing Enchantress.
That's right. Okoye's already gone now, so there's no way to interrupt.
He's got a lovely double beam set up as well.
Man, brutal. Thanos will be getting cover. I think Bodyguard's online, right? Yep.
Be with
Potentially 2 of them.
Yeah, he's got
just
the power to move them though.
Yeah, she took a bunch of damage, so she's got her powers loaded up.
Yep.
Here we go.
So yeah, he's field dressing
man.
Enchantress.
You guys are... I have to thank these guys after the game. They actually make me look like I know what I'm talking about.
It's good play, and means that Morgan's going to score 5-0 this round. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
going to go 7.
a large point swing.
Yeah.
Certainly upsetting the status quo.
Not only that, but Enchantress is going to be relatively far away. She is, however, going to be on 1 health. Probably the best place for her to stand is back near Okoye, but the trouble is Thanos is going to have the power. He's going to have 4 power. He's going to have the power to move people around, so that's not going to be hugely relevant. I think distance is your best friend.
And Enchantress is already on 9 power, so she wants to spend some of that power before doing a beam. I think perhaps the idea is to get Thanos in as close as possible, spend your 2 power, then you use your beam to rebuild that 2 power, steal the token, walk away.
Siren's called. Well, I think
you might as well do it all in one go and beam them twice in case you steal some power.
So, you know, I'd be of the other mind. I'd be because it's not an action.
Run away.
Not an action to kiss, and just run away twice.
I was thinking that was the other line of play, probably. It was, do you try to damage them? No. I think you the goal is to get that token. You can already do that. Get that token, walk away.
And he's already scoring the other 3 secures. He's going to Siren's Call away Okoye, just
for good measure.
Yep. Gets a bit further away from where Enchantress is going to end up.
He's only a small mover with Enchantress now. He's got the token, isn't he? So
that's true, but still 2 small moves with 2 bases. It's not insignificant. It's good. It's long. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, if she can get to this gray car in the back here, there's a chance that maybe she sits on top for cover as well. That's not nothing.
Yeah.
Even better to be on top of the car within range of Okoye.
Yep, I think that might just be out.
Yeah, it's a bit of a stretch, I think. First move's gone down.
I suspect we're seeing an asteroid M next round, and I don't hate Magneto going to range 3 of Thanos and just moving him away. That's
so it looks like we're going around the other side of the car.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
She's going to get some hot dogs. She's joining that senator, getting some hot dogs.
Enchantress is clearly outside of 4 of Thanos, so there's going to be at least a move. So you've only got 2 attacks into Enchantress.
Yeah, so we're doing some points, I think. That should be the end of the round.
Fine for dealing the 1 damage that's required.
I don't see the thing above her head, though.
Yeah, 1 damage is so easy to accomplish in this game, right?
Checking is Mystique within 1.
Again, but it was discussed. It was discussed, yeah.
But it won and twice, so it has to be right.
It should be, I know.
Oh, they're just discussing because the symbol's not above her head.
I do not trust those symbols above their heads. I don't play with them in real life, and I don't trust them in the tabletop here. There's...
You didn't get the OP kit that had the little hovering symbols in it?
No, I wasn't part of the launch day event. I'm sorry.
Oh man.
Okay, so 5 VPs. Given that is, the most you can score, that's,
That's pretty
more
well.
than.
That's massive.
Good job done.
Yeah, it is.
But we've now got an injured Magneto, and I suspect he is number one target. Now, the interesting thing here, if Leaf doesn't manage to get the scroll back, the most he can score is 2. So, given that Morgan has a lead, if Enchantress can run away for the whole game and hold on to the scroll and not die, then Morgan wins.
Yeah.
Now that's a big if, because Enchantress is on 1 health, she's incinerated, and Thanos looks angry.
It's good. Quite.
Yeah, everybody's incinerated except for Magneto on Morgan's team, and although She-Hulk is KO'd,
Looks like he's
the other
looking to reclaim that token as quickly as possible. Though,
seems like because
yeah, he needs that to get back on track, I think. But I'm not sure, if he's gonna. Well, we'll see. Maybe we can project the scoring for the next couple rounds. But is that going to put him so far out ahead, this 5-point turn, that that Leaf's not able to recover or close that gap?
I think
I feel like without She-Hulk, he's not on track to daze everybody or KO everybody.
If he scores say 3 every round, Leaf.
3-2. Morgan's got 5 rounds. Yeah, Morgan still wins. So he needs to. That's not enough.
Yeah, the pressure's on now. The control and beatdown thing came up again.
Big turn from Morgan there. Maybe that stealing it once was enough.
Right. I think that may be the case. Is what I'm trying to say. He only needed that one turn there to flip the advantage state to his side, and now he can enjoy a little bit of more comfort while he watches Leaf squirm. We got the portal coming in on Enchantress.
Be careful here with the placement. Okay, right. I think what's happening here.
Oh, do you think he's going to punch Okoye and throw into Enchantress?
For a while, throw into Enchantress.
Yep, that's exactly what's happening.
Oh, that's a good roll.
By Okoye.
Yeah, Okoye's got a re-roll to. No, even if she re-rolls, I think she's down.
Is
she can get a maximum of 3. She got 3, so she takes 3.
Is this justice for that finals game from a previous round? Payback, Okoye.
But then Morgan's on the wrong end of it again. Like, this is not how the script goes.
It looks dodgeable, right?
Yeah.
And Enchantress hates getting things thrown at her. Oh, there's a crit, though.
But even if it rolls in, then he's still going to take 1 and become dazed.
That's right. He needed all the successes there.
That was pretty efficient. So with 2 actions to daze 2 characters, drop the scroll. Yeah.
It's what he wants to be doing, for sure.
And he's still got an action left to, I don't know, whistle.
Well, he could shoot at Toad with his range attack, couldn't he?
Move Toad in if he's got the power, given that he just generates
range force coming out.
Why isn't Okoye dazed?
Perhaps they just haven't applied the damage yet. I do see. I see a daze on the left side of my streamer view.
Just Morgan hasn't updated the damage on there. That's fine.
Yeah.
Not a big deal.
I think I need to unlock this streamer view. I've got characters going off the side of the board here. Let's see if I can't quickly do that. Oh, someone else keeps turning off the mod settings, or I can't do. I can't change the settings. I think art might be. Well.
Okay, so he's. So, again, Leaf doing some of his measuring. He's put some sticks out, and he knows that Toad being pulled 2 plus the base of Toad makes it in range 2 of Thanos. And the measuring he did there told him that. So again, just having some certainty where other people might have to eyeball it and go, "Oh, is that in? Is that not?" One of the things that
Proper
I've
use of the
noticed-
measurement tools, like you were saying.
Oh, you did a crit.
Yeah, you mentioned that earlier in the game, right?
Oh,
just
Toad's safe.
Do that last point.
no,
Is it me?
he
He
only
he
blocks
went
one.
up cover, will he? No.
Yeah, doesn't get covered. He's within 2.
Wow, that is a heck of a start. 3 actions, 3 dazes.
Yeah, that seems strong.
Doesn't it, though?
That's what 9-point Thanos is supposed to do, isn't it?
When he's working well, yeah.
No, no throw. No. That's Thanos.
And the brilliant thing is, he's dazed 3 characters and still has priority.
That's helpful.
I mean, so long as he doesn't daze another one with Okoye. Got to make sure he doesn't do that.
I mean, his choices are down to Mystique and Magneto. That's going to be a tough sell.
Yeah,
Yeah,
beating Toad, that was big.
Yes. So I think
It is Morgan's go, but he's pinched at this point, probably.
yeah.
So we were just thinking that Morgan's okay to sit on his laurels, more or less.
Yep.
But he's going to have to, now that the token's back on Thanos, he's going to have to be careful about how he does that and which characters he gets involved.
I'm not convinced that pans out because he goes to 11 at the end of round 3 and then 13, 15. So that if he does that, the game's going to round 6. And with the attrition we've just seen, he's going to have 4 injured characters. He's going to start not having any characters on the board pretty quickly. He's even going to struggle to score 2 potentially if Okoye starts contesting or claiming because she's a healthy character and his only healthy character is Mystique.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of feel that plan is not going to work. If Thanos had whiffed a bit and he could run around and get in annoying positions, but the turn that's just happened, I think Morgan kind of needs to be looking at dazing Thanos, get the scroll back, and then that can lock in one more scoring of the scroll plus various portals. 4 and 4 puts him to 15. So
Yeah, I think you're right.
even that's not certain, just the power that Thanos is bringing.
Yeah, with him moving or with him performing those dazes with Thanos, I think that it shifts how that game is going. So it kind of takes that option away from Morgan. He can't just sit there anymore. It may have been available, prior to Thanos blowing up 3 characters basically, but it might have just been scooped out from under him. He can't relax anymore.
But Magneto is an incredibly powerful character. There's
Yeah.
a decent amount of terrain on that side of the board. So I think Morgan is looking. So Mystique's moving to make sure she's out of 4, so that if Thanos wants to go and get Mystique, he has to at least move.
It looks like he shook slow.
Yeah, he did it the right way around this time. I don't think she'd have been in 3 to do her attack anyway. Although, okay,
Certainly
and now he's putting up his refraction now.
Mm-hmm. Got to make sure those 2 characters stay alive again.
Yes.
And attempting, it looks like, to get cover from that construct as well.
Yeah, it's a great use of the constructs, which sometimes gets overlooked by players, is you can place them right in front of a character, they're within 1 of it, so they can gain cover from it as long as they're size 2.
That's right. They are terrain features.
So Okoye is looks like Okoye is forgetting that Mystique has stealth. And therefore a move and a range 4 shot is not going to work on her.
He'd be tied to a range 4 there, I think, anyway, but yeah.
It's stunning to me that both Thanos and Okoye still are not damaged.
Yeah, haven't taken a point. But then, 20 stamina of She-Hulk is, a decent amount for Magneto to
We
have chewed.
were talking earlier about how what did She-Hulk accomplish, and you said distraction, and I think you're right. Chewing through 20 HP set Leaf up in the situation where, he's got the remaining two characters are capable of kind of running around with impunity at this point because they're no attritional work has been done to them yet.
Yeah. And seeing what's just happened and the fact that a good number of them are going to get incinerated again. I think they checked. It looked like Toe. I can't remember whether Toe was in or out. But Okoye, when she flips, is going to be incinerated. Enchantress looks out, so I don't think she will be. Mystique is already incinerated, and he's realised now that he needs to get into the stealth range, and he's seen that that's not going to pan out for him this round.
Yeah, Toad reacquiring that incinerate token's not the biggest deal in the world. He does only have 3 health on his flip side, right?
I know.
Yeah.
Well, you need everything you can get when you've only got 3 health.
That's true. Yeah.
Just ask Rocket.
What you need to do is not take a Groot to the face.
Yeah. Oh man, that's just the best way of getting rid of Rocket.
It's called bowling.
And actually, I say that probably the best way of getting rid of Rocket is to sibling rivalry Loki into him, because then he gets 0 dice and just also takes 3 damage and just like, yep, guaranteed.
That's
done.
An interesting reaction. I don't think I've heard anyone raise that before. Sibling rivalry is one of my favorite cards in this game. I love the flavor. I love the effect. It's an incredible card, and I wish I played it in more games.
I have one complaint with sibling rivalry.
I had Rocket shoot Hawkeye, and Hawkeye shot him first with his quick shot. Is it?
Ignoring cover, yeah.
It actually
Yeah.
worked.
So well, I did 2 damage and gave him a bleed, so he died on the end of his activation.
Oh no.
Yeah, my one complaint about sibling rivalry is it's not called Get Help.
Yeah. Yeah. But I hate that game.
So Okoye has been placed outside of the portal. Now I think that tells you that Leaf his win condition is kill the world.
Right.
Either kill the world to the point where he's always going to win it.
Looks like we got a 6 dice.
Yeah, Death's Creed, Vibranium Spear Blast.
If he's able to get close enough. Or did he
Looks
go for
like it.
Magneto?
He used climbing gear.
Oh, climbing gear. Oh, wow. Okay, we missed that. Yeah, here it is. It's been spent.
Oh, 2 of us did.
Yeah, well, that's why we got more. One of the commentators is going to notice something. Good job.
And if not, chat will be on it.
He's right. Not the internet loves correcting people.
Yeah, you know.
Did Mystique take a damage?
Yeah, I don't know that there were any results there.
23.
She's Mystique's blocked free. I know, but she's got cover from the construct.
Cover from the construct. There we go. That's
Right.
what I was missing. We talked about that, right?
Yeah, it comes up again.
Someone said it was really good.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, they sound smart.
Cover is one of those things in this game I think that people undervalue. The effect it has is pretty incredible. It just automatically turns on defense, but the ability to get cover is a little restrictive in Marvel Crisis Protocol. It's not like in some other games like War Machine or some other things, but there's some strange requirements given the size of objects and characters that are involved that people often overlook it.
Looks to me like Morgan's eyeing up an asteroid M. He's measuring 3 from Magneto and 1 from Mystique and trying to figure out. Now, this is where a bit of Suzume Kazo's Leaf's tech is really useful. So Magneto's base is 2 inches. So the 2 inches, or nearly exactly 2 inches, it's slightly under. It's 50 mils as opposed to 54 mils. So it's 4 mil difference there.
Close enough for government work.
0.4 0.4 mil difference, so there is a tiny difference. But if you put a range 2 on Mystique, then that's the 1 inch for Mystique plus the 2 inches for Magneto's base.
Mm-hmm.
Now you still can't put down that range 2 and the range 3 from Thanos, but you can, you've got a nice yellow stripe in the road there that you can use as kind of a way marker
Mm-hmm.
to go, where does that come? So it looks
We got
like
a card flip.
Magneto, spending 2, he's going in for it. He had a look at the short move and didn't like the look of it. So I suspect we'll have a look, and if Thanos is within 3, then we'll see some attacks into Thanos, moving him around. If not, then Okoye is going to feel the brunt. Now I think Okoye's in bodyguard range anyway, so this might be going into Okoye for the first attack. But then pushing Okoye one way and pushing Thanos another way is not necessarily a bad result.
Is he going to go off to the side here? Not straight towards Thanos?
He wants
he
to
might
be in range
be.
of this white car, I think, for the pro.
Oh, yeah. Maybe he can throw that at Okoye.
Or Thanos. A long throw is a long way. I think Thanos looked out of long, but
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a bit of a
Yeah.
stretch.
Yeah, the long throws are just under a range 4, isn't it?
6.
It's not a great block wall.
yeah, this is into Okoye.
Blocking 2 is Okoye.
So it looks like 1
Blocks
damage
2.
goes through.
And then push you.
The Okoye going to move.
Bringing Okoye closer.
Do you think perhaps he's trying to remove Okoye from the equation completely this turn? Bring Leaf down to 1 character and see if he can, assert control over the board after that?
Well,
Well, I
she would
think
only be
that-
dazed, wouldn't she? But,
She would. What that maybe does is that forces him to not act with Thanos first, which maybe gives Enchantress a bit more of a calmed life.
Just steal it back again.
Yeah.
So Astrodome. So we saw an attack to move. So there's 1 action remaining on Magneto. But we're going to start
Yeah.
throwing stuff first.
Uh,
And Okoye does not count blanks and dodges. She doesn't like
Does
having
not.
things thrown at her.
Oh,
Oh, and there are 3
great.
blanks there.
and
Oof.
that'll be enough to daze her.
The reroll's
some
also
power.
only on attack and defense, right? So
Yeah.
Yep, not much.
giant objects thrown at my head, my only weakness. How did you know?
Oh, he's going to move
It's a lot
closer.
of characters with this, yeah. I think he's going to stay out of 1, but
Yeah, I wouldn't want to put Magneto on the point.
well, okay. So this presents some really interesting choices for Leaf to make, because removing Magneto off the table with 3 attacks from Thanos feels like a good plan. But at the same time, that leaves Enchantress, who can bow, kiss, run. And then Okoye can potentially run after her and position in such a way that even with a
Oh,
there's
he's
some
moving
interesting.
back. Oof.
Just make sure he's out of 4. He's trying to keep Mag safe.
Yeah, it's a good play.
Okay, and then they're scoring the round. So Morgan scores 1 to 8, and Leaf scores 2 to 4.
So our totals are 4 for Suzume or for Leaf, and we've got Morgan at 8 points. We're hitting the top of round 4 here. So that marks the halfway point in the game, grand total in terms of rounds. But
Yep,
I don't know if we're gonna make it that far.
I think stuff's going to be dead.
Yeah,
Flip up the card for me, please.
this is a very volatile situation. Could be a lot of things that go up in smoke very quickly here.
Yeah, I think Enchantress might have a target on her head here.
I think that's the smart thing for Leaf to do. He can get to Magneto, but 2 attacks, it's not reliable to do the 8 damage that's required. Whereas Enchantress presents a threat.
Yes.
Yeah, I think nudging Magneto back the half an inch or whatever to get out of range 4 is probably one of those moves that you get a handle on after playing a lot of reps with your list. Feel like it's
And
one of those things
Morgan's
that a player of lesser
Yeah.
caliber might not have noticed. Yeah, I gotta stay away from Thanos.
Morgan's played a lot of reps with Thanos as well, so he knows both sides of that equation.
But there's a very good chance because
I'm curious if you had the ability to rewind time. Is there a world where you want to get Thanos to his flip side as quickly as possible, and then turn off the ability for him to cosmic portal stuff. Like if you had to trade Thanos for She-Hulk, if you dived in on him rather harshly, or is that not as much of an advantage?
Well, taking She-Hulk out, they have lost the leadership, which is pretty big.
And she's another big damage dealer.
Yeah.
So I think
Tokens are
if
big
you-
now.
Yeah.
This,
I think if you find yourself in that situation where you've got Thanos with like 9-10 power and a She-Hulk, then you're going to be in a lot of pain.
Not
I think
ideal.
probably taking out She-Hulk was the right call for the first part. I think this Thanos activation is going to dictate how much of a game this stays. How much gets taken off the board, because Morgan's now got 4 injured characters. I don't think Mystique is a priority target, so I mean she's nice to have, nice to take out, but
yeah, I agree. The other thing to note is the display on the board is not quite correct right now, because I think that Suzume or Leaf has priority currently, right? With Magneto being the last activation, so that token should be on the other side of the board for anyone who's watching.
I suspect it's just that they didn't give ticks out, and that's what the mod cares about, is who gave the last tick.
That's right.
Thanos is attacking Okoye.
Yeah, sounds like a basic strike. 6 dice.
He's got the
Chances does not
wild.
like getting things thrown at her.
One skull.
That skull turning into a crit. That's that reality gem
Five.
paying off. Oh,
So,
First, I throw
is that a dead Okoye?
yeah,
Throw
that's a dead Okoye.
Okoye, and throw happens first on because it's 4 damage is dealt.
So we're seeing a dodge roll from Enchantress right now.
Well, she blocks
2
two.
blocks. Not bad. Only takes 1 from that.
Nice.
One attack down. 1 character down.
Feel strong.
Certainly does. Boy, that guy hits like a truck.
There's a good chance, yeah.
Big middle fist.
2 hits. But I also figured I'd it's more damage on that throw. Just 1 point. So I think I jump the Enchantress over to here so I can bump the Gentleman's Club each hit.
I think, yeah.
So he's now that Okoye's gone, he's focusing on Enchantress,
Yeah.
positioning her with the throw in mind, so that if we get that wild on that strike, then Enchantress is going to collide with the size 5 building behind her repeatedly.
Yep, it's a way to get extra victory points in there, or to get extra damage through. And
Yeah.
he pays 2 to ignore the defense.
That would be ideal.
He does.
Looks like we got a crit roll.
Oh. Got 2 on with Thanos. Oh, 2 more blanks. So
Just 2.
she takes 2.
And no wild, so no
No.
throw.
So she's got 2 left, and he's got 1 activation.
Still enough power to pay for reducing those defenses again.
Yep.
Yep. So Enchantress it is.
And I think probably you're better off saving the 2 power and not going for his energy push attack with the extra dice.
Yeah. Death for
Oh,
damage.
4 wilds.
Oh boy. Let's just take that off the board.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta unglue it from the stick first, though.
I do that so often.
The right tool for the job. Great for keeping them in place. Not when you want to remove them. Wow.
I fear that is the price I pay.
And
Yeah, and Toad can
Right. KOing
incinerate him as well, hex him.
not hex, but yeah, incinerate.
So incinerate.
Thanos. That's not a bad shout with a Magneto ready to go. But I suspect
Yeah, I think
taking Okoye off the board is going to be the priority.
I don't think he's
Oh,
within 1,
definitely.
honestly.
Two.
But then again, I was just talking about how I don't trust those display things.
Something I see a lot is people doing sort of revenge attacks, like, Thanos has gone and beaten that up. So this is looks like this is Magneto activating and attacking
Mhm.
into a 2 dice Okoye.
I think that was what I was thinking. You want to try and get Okoye going here.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You've got another
Oh,
round or
there
two.
she's gone. I know
Oof.
she counts blanks, doesn't
No?
she? She's lucky. She's lucky.
Lucky she's good.
Yeah, better
Yeah,
lucky than good sometimes.
So then there's a throw going into her, which she gets 3 dice on.
But doesn't count blanks.
no,
Oh, that might. I think that takes her out. Yeah.
not so good that time.
KO Okoye. So we're down to 3v1. Well, we said this was going to be a slugfest, and we're seeing the kill count rack up.
That's right. It's a shame you can't convert to a different leadership in the middle of the game. Thanos would be earning points here. Can you imagine?
For Thanos, yeah. This is-
All right.
So that was Magneto still got an action, and he's looking at a move. I feel like that's a mistake. Morgan is saying he feels it's risky to move forward, but I think he's thinking if he survives the 3 attacks, then he's going to get the extra dice. Yeah, feel like moving close to Thanos.
It's a tough decision.
So I think Suzume still needs to be the one pushing here. Thanos needs to kill the board now.
Yep, I think you're right.
Pretty
And
Certainly, he needs to kill at least 2 characters.
well, you've been validated by a utility cookie in the chat, so you know.
Must be right then.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to almost a board wipe, isn't it?
Yeah. So this is Toad is spitting acid at Thanos.
Yep.
I think it's worth noting that what we're seeing here again is right. The situation's changing with the days or with the takeout on Okoye. Things shift a bit, and now Leaf has to recognize that and jump in with Thanos and get some work done.
Yes. Okay. So Toad's having another spit acid at Thanos, just to try and get some chip damage, I suspect.
Applying that condition is not nothing either.
But he's already.
Yeah. Then he'll probably just hop back onto the point.
Some good blocking from Thanos.
Yeah, did he take any damage? Wow.
No. Turns out, reality Thanos is tanky boy.
He's still got a med pack loaded up too, so I don't know if we're gonna see him go down. He
I
might
don't know,
have.
Magneto can blow up the world. He's got a lovely spot in here with sort of these 2 cars, 2 size 2s, plus a construct. He's going to have 2 constructs. Now that he's not stunned, he's already on 5 power. He's going to go up to 8 power. He could potentially take out Thanos in a single activation. That's not impossible.
Yeah, he's got a 1 round, right? As they say.
I think that's the play. Yeah. Right now a Deception or a Asteroid M would have been beautiful to try and maximize that, but
Those cards have been sent, and they don't come back like Magnetic Refraction does.
that's it.
The other thing is, there's going to be an interesting choice for Leaf as well, right? He'll start with priority, depending on where things are positioned. Do you just go with Thanos immediately, or do you try to work on something else, or maybe pass just to see 1 activation from your opponent to try and set things up?
I think what's likely to happen in that activation is that Mystique fires her pistol 3 to 4 times into Thanos and may do some damage into an incinerated Thanos, and that softens him up for a Magneto. So I feel like that only benefits Morgan.
You wouldn't reach for the Claymore or the Semtex and blow up that car behind him for automatic damage?
Well, it's not as big on him because he still reduces it by 1. But
He does.
Yeah, I think that's possible.
Prevents him from rolling for it.
Wonder... That's true, but I think the upside is higher on the throw potential for Magneto, and I think because Thanos has to get Oh man, this is so interesting because Thanos has to get Magneto within 2, but that's exactly where he doesn't want Magneto to be. So on Leaf's side, the best if he doesn't manage to KO Magneto, his best outcome is to push him with the second attack out of 2, so that Magneto doesn't get the rerolls on the first attack.
Hmm.
What size is Toad's tongue lash push? That could be very relevant.
Size 2.
Range 3,
Size
right? Oh.
Yeah, but size 2,
Oh,
so you
yeah,
can't.
yeah. You're saying you can only displace a size 2 character.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's not going to be able to move him around. Mystique can't move him around. Yeah.
The only thing is Magneto's attack.
So Morgan's going up just to try and score an extra VP to go to.
I put him on 11 this turn.
Mystique is blowing up.
Oh, interesting.
He wants. Okay.
He wants to
He
pass
could
the
have done
power.
he could have done the one next to him to give him 2 damage. Or 1
Would have
damage.
been, but that's
One's better than nothing.
Maybe he doesn't want
okay.
to give him that one more power. Would
Maybe.
5 power, put him in a situation that he can run away with something?
Going to be 8,
Well,
isn't it?
Sure.
Yeah, he'll be on 7 at the start of this round anyway, so
Yeah, I
he's
think
got
that
enough power
Thanos
to move everyone.
yeah, Whiskey, I think Thanos is not contesting that central portal.
He's been
He's
keen
been
to do that. So be incinerated, but Toad had other thoughts.
That's
Yeah.
right.
They should also be putting an incinerator token on Toad. I'm sure that's coming imminently.
Oh, right, because he just flipped it.
Oh man, Magneto's contesting, so he gets an incinerator token as well.
Could change math. I don't think he had much choice there, though. I think he needs to cement that victory point lead and stay alive.
Sure, Art will jump in if they haven't spotted.
Alright, so we do have round 5 here starting off, and priority again is to Leaf. Looks like he may have passed, though. And
He's moving Toad.
yeah. Oh, I see. He's doing the cosmic portal. I thought Toad might have been
Yep.
leaping, but you're right. That ruler color is for Leaf.
Yep.
I'm gonna try and wipe Toad off the map here. Reaching over that car, and there's no terrain cover because he is within 2 for this attack.
There's no token on Toad, but they are only rolling 2 dice. So that's,
Is he not? He's definitely rolled 2.
yeah, they roll the right number of dice, even if you had another token.
Oh, yeah, I'll put it up, sorry.
It's irrelevant. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that'll be Toad.
Yeah, and with hits like that, I think. Do you know what happens to a Toad that's punched with Infinity Gauntlet?
The same thing that happens to everything else, Jacob.
Yeah, pretty much.
Same thing that happened to Enchantress Okoye.
There's a lot more than 50% of this game that's getting snapped. Oh man, this is out of control, man. Squish pop.
Proving he's worth his 9 points today, isn't he?
He's doing work, that's for sure. 2 more
Whoa.
actions, right?
So both players have got 9 points left on the board.
Well, it's come to that. We promised you a bloodbath. You're gonna get it. So let's see. Does he want to walk forward and get Magneto? You're not going to be supplying Magneto with a terribly large amount of power because he can only gain 1.
Well, that's true. I think going into Magneto is probably the right. So it's around 5. So he's got. I think at this point he can score a maximum of 3. So he would score 3 this round and go to 9, and then 3 the next round and go to 12. That's the highest possible VPs total that Leaf can get to. So if Morgan scores 2 VPs across the next 2 rounds, then he wins the game, as long as he doesn't get board wiped. So can I get the game comes down to can Thanos with what 5 activations left now 4 because he's moved
Hmm.
kill
And then pay two.
Mystique and Magneto. Now the issue that he's going to have is that Mystique hasn't been dazed yet. So if he doesn't daze Mystique this round, he has to make sure that it goes to round 7 in order to do that.
There.
So just pausing Magneto so that he can throw Magneto into his own constructs.
And we'll try punching Mystique.
Looks
he's
like
gonna
he's going
punch
to punch
Mystique.
Mystique into Magneto.
Get that throw off. Brotherhood facing down Thanos.
Ha ha ha. 3 crits.
Crits.
Yeah.
No wild yet, though.
Gotta make up for what She-Hulk couldn't
Yeah,
do.
no wild, so he's not going to get thrown.
Take two. Didn't get the throw, so you're still out. Yep.
Right,
his,
now
his throw
Mystique,
plan didn't quite work out.
That's Thanos.
Mystique not being dazed is actually massive.
She can move around and claim this back portal if she wants now.
She can, like we talked about. Morgan's game plan is kind of,
Run away from Thanos
5.
with Mystique.
well, yeah, run away from Thanos with Mystique, potentially move Magneto and then to range 3 and move Thanos and score 2 VPs, one with
He could-
Magneto, one with Mystique.
You could espionage him and try to stun him. Oh, he's immune to stun, isn't he?
Yes, he is immune to stun, yeah.
Yeah,
Nice
just run
to-
away then.
So those 2 VPs put Morgan up to 13, which he should get, unless he has a moment. That means that Leaf can only win by making it go either a board wipe or go to round 7. And a board wipe, when Mystique hasn't been dazed, can only happen in round 7. So this is that not getting Mystique there was massive.
Yeah, there's
So
going to be some, and that's all because he didn't roll a wild, because that throw would have resulted in 1 automatic damage.
Yep.
So it will be interesting to see because with Thanos is still going to have loads of power. He's going to have at least 9 power next round, so he's going to be moving people around again, and he may well be moving around. So what does he need to do? And Thanos is not scoring this round because he's not.
No, he's
Yeah.
only scoring 2, so he'll only go up to 8. And Morgan will go up to 13. So the
it's-
most he could score would be 11
so-
at the end
oh,
of the
that
range.
might be- that might be game right
Yeah,
here.
he can't win. I don't think he can win.
I'm struggling to see a route to victory.
Like you
Because
say, he hasn't dazed Mystique this turn, so the most he can do is daze her next turn.
it depends on what Morgan sees. Because if Morgan doesn't see that, then maybe he only scores 1, and he's going to have Magneto stand there and shoot twice. And I don't think Magneto's in contesting range currently, from where he's been placed.
Right, because he did portal him forward. I think the
He would.
I think the
Morgan
portal's
would still
right
win
under this-
though with 12.
yeah,
No,
we
I
can see the portal now. Yeah,
Magneto's got a symbol above his head. He is, so he doesn't even need to move Magneto in order to score that point.
I think he just wants to get away from Thanos, forcing him
Okay,
to
that's-
spend power or move potentially.
Yeah, because he was within range 2. He wouldn't be able to move him, would he?
That's
Yeah,
true.
I think he wants to push him back a bit, deal the
okay.
damage, maybe push him back a
Or
bit.
maybe push him out towards the hot dog stand, get a burger.
But it feels like it's leaving the door open just a tiny fraction. Because then what? Morgan's going to go to 12.
Oh, he's pulling him away from Mystique.
Yeah, I think he's gonna try and rely on Mystique running away with the game, literally.
I think even without scoring that point, I think maybe he's still got it because he'll go to 12. Suzume goes to 8, and then maximum of 3 the next round goes to 11.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so he hasn't.
Yeah, Mystique scoring this bottom point was all he needed.
We've got a throw coming in. It looks like.
Stop it all.
3 blocks. Nice.
Doesn't even need his being of immeasurable power to kick in. Just dices it all away.
Magneto is still within 2 of the spread within 1 of the portal.
Mhm.
Or failed to kill Mystique.
So last round,
going to yeah, and our score is Leaf has 8 and Morgan has 13 points in
13.
round 6. Lucky number 13. Magneto's construct is going down again. Doing the power phase. Utility cookie's calling it.
Yeah, I think you're right, Dave. I don't think there's a route to victory here for Suzume Gaze for Leaf. So he's pulling in mags, and I think he's going to get a bit of satisfaction here.
I just want to punch Magneto a couple times. That's all.
3 times.
I heard he was reaching for a cosmic blast.
So yeah, that's the most dice that Thanos can roll. Ooh, not great, but
Magneto
Yeah.
Oh,
blocks.
yeah,
there's a lot of skulls.
Takes 1.
Because that one skull
So-
turns into a crit.
yep,
Yeah,
there's
so
only
he takes 1.
some good blocks from Magneto there on his 6 dice.
Mm-hmm.
2 crit.
The dice gods giveth, and the dice gods taketh away.
Yeah, Mags
Yeah.
getting blocks.
Blocking 3 of the 4.
4 currently.
Just 1 again. And you can't throw him because of the Magneto's force projection.
Yeah, that
Yep.
ability is so good on Magneto. It's ruined my dreams many times.
Man, Magneto's blocks have been fantastic.
Yeah. With the dice rollers up on the top of the screen.
Takes 1 again.
Man, that guy just won't quit, will he?
No.
Thanos or whatever else. The game is yours.
Well, we go. Just for
Might as well.
Couldn't get the job done.
go on Magneto.
Think that's gonna bring it to an end after they start rolling dice.
Yeah.
They just roll out and see if they can daze Thanos. Just
Just for funsies.
well, also always feels better if you can get to 16. Thanos is holding a scroll.
Yeah.
Magneto-
It's 3, 4, 5 already. It's 5. Damage reduction from Thanos kicking in, but he's getting close.
3
He's
left on
got-
him.
Gonna nail him with these contracts.
And there's 2 constructs to throw into them. Yeah.
Block 2, take nothing.
Yikes.
How many you got left?
Shrugs one of them off.
3.
Mm.
I'll throw another construct at him.
Just pitching everything. Grab the kitchen sink. Throw that too.
No.
And he blocks another one all the way. Wow.
He does. He's not going down easy.
This guy's got no quit.
You can see that scene in the movie, can't you, where Magneto is throwing everything like bat, 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 and this, yeah.
You did 3 damage last.
Yeah. I do like this game because there's a lot of cinematic qualities to it. And those big hits and big swings from the dice come in and they can really feel like you're getting punched by Thanos. That's not a good time.
Let's see, can he take Thanos out and score the scroll just to round out the victory?
He's going to need his rerolls.
Good thing he's got them.
That's right. Looks like we're showing 1 block. Oh, that's actually 2 because of the reality gem.
Yeah,
Versus 6. That's enough.
Exactly enough.
There's
Yep.
the days. A good way to punctuate that victory.
Yeah, good way to finish the game.
You wanna
7.
Jump back over to that other channel? Or actually, just
We're
turn
still
the
in
volumes
it.
back up? Yeah, that's right.
Ask them to unmute us.
Yeah, well played. That was a disaster. When you got
The scroll. It's
oh yeah.
it's super high chance. Right?
Oh
Oh.
yeah, 70%.
Oh, there we go.
Hey, hey. Can you guys hear us?
Commentators? Sure. Go.
They are asking to unmute the commentators.
Oh
Yeah, I am starting that process.
Alright, got your guys' volume turned back on.
Yeah, well, I have up to 2. Commentator 3 momentarily. There we go.
Yeah, there's a lot of us. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no,
But
all good.
thank you for having us. What an incredible game. That was. We promised the viewers a bloodbath, and I think you gave it to them. So
Yeah.
good job. Yeah. So, anyone have any standout questions on the matchup or the game that we saw? Feel free to jump in. I think.
Jacob, we can't hear you. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, Morgan.
There-
So talk us through the inclusion of Enchantress. What was your thoughts at the beginning of the game, and how did that pan out?
Sure. So obviously the priority roll was a disaster for Magneto and his cronies. And then really I wanted to play Panther into probably She-Hulk and Thanos because he's quite survivable. But as soon as Leaf picked the scrolls and the single extract, it changes the game plan in that I just needed Enchantress, I think, to steal it once and then probably die like she did. And I thought that might give me enough points just to ride out the Thanos pain train and survive and eke out a victory before all my people are destroyed.
And I mean, you brought that to an eventuality. So good job.
Yeah.
But it was close.
There might be hindsight bias on that, but I suppose that was kind of the idea.
Oh yeah. No, I think you had to pick Enchantress.
But one wild onto that Mystique attack, and you're looking at down the barrel of a different gun.
That's true.
Yeah, that would have been interesting. I'd have to redo the maths on that, but Magneto would have to probably double move away, score a point, and survive a Thanos onslaught the next round.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting. How much maths do you do on the fly during a game?
Not every activation, but normally 2 or 3 times a turn, just depending how you have to redo it when the damage is done. So I think you guys did a tremendous podcast. It was one of my favourites from the Danger Room with Huggy Bear on the maths piece. And we spoke, and I'd sort of said I was a little bit surprised that might have been a new concept to some people, but it actually makes sense. So I try and redo the maths every time a character gets dazed, KO'd, or see where the opposition moves onto a point or doesn't. And I was actually really surprised that Leaf didn't move onto any points.
I should have. Yeah.
Yeah. I think if you moved on the points, I'd probably lose that game.
Yeah. I should have moved Thanos onto a points. Well, She-Hulk didn't really have much of a choice. She-Hulk did not get to do much of anything.
Well, we commented that She-Hulk was an excellent distraction full of 20 hit points.
She was.
Yep.
She was. But if I played...
Sorry, go on.
No, I should have played her cagier and not brought her in. There was no pressing need for that.
I think if you sat on the back point with Okoye and or She-Hulk,
yeah,
just went, I'm getting 3 a turn, you're getting 2 a turn.
Yeah. Turn 1, the two of them could have camped back there with special delivery still in hand.
Yeah. I was relying on you to be aggressive. Because I thought I'd lost the game, mate. As soon as we did the priority roll and you skulls and bought out. Couldn't.
Yeah. And talk about nabbing that scroll on the first turn.
Awesome.
It's pretty good odds. It's about 70%. So
yeah, I think we just got done talking about how sometimes it doesn't get grabbed until turn 5, and then you rolled, and there it was.
Yeah.
Well, I clearly had visions of grandeur of going over to and then nabbing it with a cheeky single roll. But no, it didn't work out that way.
Yeah. I do have something to add when you were talking about how that Danger Room podcast came in with the defensive scoring, and I think you and I had a conversation about this. While I have this feeling that many players do that in the back of their mind, maybe subconsciously, they're cognizant of the trend in the scoring, but maybe not so doing it so minutely or doing it so granularly to detect that Thanos locking down one portal every turn puts him on trend to win at a rate that is inconvenient for Morgan, right? And adding that 1 point in can make a big difference.
Yeah, I mean, it was rough for Leaf because, if he does that, then it changes how I play because then I have to go, right, I'm now all in on dazing Thanos, who's incinerated and trying to move around. So I was reacting, but the time I take between turns is not...
Sorry, did we lose Morgan?
you got
Cut
me?
out for a moment.
Okay, there we go.
I was going to say, I was just saying it was rough for Leaf because if he did sit on the portal, it changes how probably Magneto plays.
Yeah.
And probably gets more aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
But the time I take between turns, back to your earlier question, your point on the maths counting, is normally on maths counting, not on movements. I pretty much know what moves and what characters I'm going to do and what I want to do. But I just recount the maths, and that's why it takes time between turns for me generally, which I assume most people is that way, but I don't know.
Oh, well, me, it's the crippling indecision of existential terror that kicks in.
Well, Thanos does that. Yeah, absolutely. Thanos.
We're
Sorry, go ahead.
commenting. Yeah, we were commenting during the game. Both of you seemed to make at key points in the game made some really important measurements, and that you were both just really good. And Leaf, I know this is something I've noticed about your games before. Good use of the movement tools to try and make sure what's in, what's out, and look at your options. Do you have any tips or tricks for the people listening?
Yeah. So to some extent, 2-inch bases are really convenient. So Thanos, if you ever want to know how far he can go, that is how far he can walk and strike someone.
Wow.
Because 5 inches of walk, 2 inches of base, and 3-inch punch range. Same with She-Hulk.
Yeah, for medium movers on a medium base. There you
Yeah,
go.
and the range 4 one is also useful because that is how far you can cap a point.
Right, you shave off a couple inches there.
Yeah, well, because it's only range 1 that you're interacting, right? So if you're within 8 inches,
Right, because
basically direct stuff.
the range 2 ruler is the only one that's not double its number in terms of inches, right?
You could argue the 1, but yes.
Oh, well, sure. It doesn't really come in the box.
No.
Yeah, so
Just
that's
a
good
word
tips.
of warning there. There is a 0.4 millimeter
Yes.
tolerance in there.
It is true. If you're looking at it and it's like, this is exact, no. But yeah.
Yeah, as my grandmother used to say, it's close enough for government work. Well, at least if you live in the United States.
Morgan, I've got a question. Did you consider using Mystique's leadership on this level? Because I know you've used it before, but
I did, yeah. I was really close to doing it actually, because I thought leaving a little token on that back point would probably just stay there for the game and probably not get removed. But my concern was in that once I saw roster and his setup, that I thought if he had a slight mistake on positioning, I might be able to get off a some sort of throw combination turn 1 or Magneto or something to be able to get an asteroid M on.
yeah.
And so I was just sort of weighing, and I thought there's a little bit of terrain in the middle, and I can probably get enough power to do things with it. But in hindsight, maybe Mystique would have been better, potentially. So I think it's a really good question. It's something I grapple with. I'm up past 60 games with Brotherhood, and I really grapple when to take which leadership, and I'm not sure I get it right all the time. And that's probably an example of a great argument to use Mystique, I think.
How much did the setup of the board and the terrain on the board affect decisions you made during the game? It feels a little bit sparse compared to some of the boards that we play on.
For me or for Leaf?
It feels like it's more relevant for the Magneto player.
Sure.
But
So
maybe there's things.
Yeah. Well, Leaf, did you have any bit about the terrain that?
Well, yeah. I was going to scroll on the Gentleman's Club side unless you really set up so that the other side was much better.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you hard placed on this side, I might have gone and done that. But a hard place on this side is also not great for you.
Yeah.
What was your rationale behind wanting to on the Gentleman Club side? I mean, apart from
the rationale is it's great cover. It's in fact line of sight blocking, pretty much, and it also blocks a lot of deception play.
Yeah, we did see that come up.
In case people didn't understand why it blocks deception play, do you want to talk through why that happened?
Okay, so yeah, if you're here, deception is an advance. You can't climb during a deception move, so you can't move Thanos up on top of the Gentleman's Club. So you have to be at a spot where you can take him. You basically only just get to move this way.
And it was a
and the
short
scroll-
movement because of the scroll. That
Yeah.
Yep.
further impacts that deception play, I think.
Yes. Yeah. In some ways, scrolls are much safer from deception than Creekor would be. And they're also citizens. So
It's almost like that's thematic for some reason. The scrolls turning
It's,
into people safe from deception themselves, right?
Absolutely. It's a bit of a dual-edged sword, that Gentleman's Club, because I looked at that and Leaf's right. Like, he picked the right side, absolutely, for the deception stop. But it's not a huge deal because he can to bodyguard it anyway or to stop it. So I'm going to have one crack at it. It's only going to move Thanos small. So I wasn't too concerned. I actually quite liked this side in case he missed it. Toad might be able to do a sneaky one. But obviously he went that side and scrolled it away, hide muscled it. But the map itself, I thought, I don't like this map for a competitive map, I've got to say. Not because I'm just a Brotherhood player at the moment, but it's very light on terrain. And it's not, I mean, I didn't count it up, but I think the average is supposed to be around 16. And
I think it might have enough pieces. They're all just really small because there's a lot of there's like 5 street lights and a lot of size 2s.
Yeah, there's
was
a
like, yeah.
maximum of 25 on here. It says on the map on the,
Yeah,
and a lot of them are around 30 plus, aren't they?
yeah. So I mean, 16 is kind of my sweet spot. What I do to try and follow the AMG. But you're right. There's a lot of small ones on there. I mean, it's a different map, and it tests rosters, especially it really this.
I would have liked it better with. I think there are 8 size 1s.
Yeah.
And it would be better if there was like an extra size 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because there are 6 lampposts, and then there was 1 extra motorcycle. So it's 8 size 1s.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit much.
Yeah, which with Magneto is not the end of the world because, like you say, you can throw all size 1 into a size 1 on turn 1 and get your Asteroid M online.
Yeah. So I mean, look, and he's got enough. I mean, I was fortunate that I could get rid of She-Hulk fast enough, so Leaf couldn't then use that terrain against me, and Magneto had a little bit up his sleeve. But as you saw, the game, Magneto didn't really rely on throws much at all. There, it was just
no.
Why did you decide to bring Magnetic Refraction? Didn't you expect him to run a low amount of character list?
I did, but he threw me when he did. I certainly wasn't expecting 17. I think he's 19 into my 9 better.
I don't know. See, my 19, if I'm running this plan, only adds Black Widow.
Yeah.
Your 19, you could go not Enchantress. You could drop Enchantress Okoye for MODOK and Lockjaw.
Yes, I'm still running 5 characters, and you've got an extra character that sit on the back. So, yeah, I mean, I was concerned about your 19 matchup. I thought your strongest into me was Citizens at 19, and I had limited opportunity to defeat you in that matchup.
Citizens has too much parity.
Okay.
Right? Because we're both playing Hired Muscle. So if I drop Citizens...
Yeah. I wouldn't play it into you, yeah. There's no point.
If I pick Panic, you wouldn't?
No, there's no point.
So I have a question for Leaf.
The Hulk jump overtakes it?
Yeah.
Yep.
And this is also maybe a secondary question for Morgan as well, but I don't want to leave Leaf out of the equation here. So I don't know if any of you gentlemen are familiar with competitive fighting game scene, but there's a term that they use that's like a 50-50, which is kind of you put your opponent in a situation where they have a 50-50 shot at guessing what you're going to be doing next, whether you're going to like dodge out of the way or what have you. And the idea is that you're creating a situation where your opponent has no choice but to choose between 2 options, and one of them's bad, or one of them could potentially open the window for you to win, right? I noticed during the game there was a couple spots where I felt like Morgan was creating, both of you really, were creating these 50-50 pinch maneuvers for your opponent. There was a point when there were several characters that had the power to field dressing either Magneto or Enchantress, and were positioning to do so. And, for the players that feel like they're in a bind and can't decide what to do in the middle of a turn, how do you work your way through that?
Oh. You just got to look at what actions you have. like to some extent when he was doing when he had the was setting up, I could see he was set up to field dressing either one. I only had an Okoye activation left. So at that point, it's like, how do I maximize this? This is the only thing I've got.
So you play the hand you dealt, right?
Yeah, you
Use
play
the
the hand
tools
you dealt.
available.
Yeah,
Nice. It's a good way to keep yourself grounded during the game. It's a good strategy to have, I think.
I didn't actually answer that question before about refraction.
Sorry.
No, I went off on a tangent about squad building or something. But so at 17, I wasn't entirely confident he would risk running through. So I thought, in case he went 4 or 5, I'm not sure. I think he could do 5 wide at 17, Leaf.
I can. I'm unlikely to. The other option would have been I could drop the other. Well, the debate was I could drop Thanos for Reality Corvus and Medusa.
Yeah. So I think I took it for there. I mean, it's Medpack, and I thought Medpack Thanos is going to just one-shot me if he goes that way. Medpack actually would have been really handy this game, and I would have loved to have traded it in after we saw the squads. But it's a coin toss. On the ease, refraction is great. If I can survive that first hit, Magneto gets it up, and it sort of counteracts the demons. But yeah, Medpack would have been 100% better in hindsight.
I would thought I think that a movement card like climbing error or extreme conditioning, I don't know if you run those, would have been maybe better even than Medpack. But
That's
I'm not sure
my
if you
eighth
run any.
card. Yeah, that's my 8th card when Hide Muscle gets banned.
Speaking of hired muscle, I noticed that. First of all, I got to commend Leaf. Your choice of tactics cards. I was looking at your list before the game. Is top notch. There, you're bringing that rocket boots drop off back.
Yeah, it's.
How much would you say that particular combination plays into your strategy for this list?
Quite a bit, right? Because there's three extracts, right? The plan with the first 2 is pretty simple, right? Scrolls is just Thanos tries to get it. Evac, Thanos goes and muscles aside and walks back. Hammers, and also if one of those fail, the Hammers plan is Reality, Corvus, and Proxima. And you can just grab 2 hammers first action. And then you have She-Hulk special delivery to threaten the other side, whichever hammer you don't pick up.
Right. Because you can pick her up with Proxima, right?
No.
Oh,
Proxima's not at that point limit, I end up playing Black Widow usually.
Right, okay.
And, well, or Okoye. Black Widow or Okoye. Either one can do the lifting. Okoye is the preference because it drops you off with a bodyguard nearby.
Yep.
Because
A-Force can give you that power
down
back too.
fast. Well, She-Hulk can also go down fast if she's focused. As
Case in point.
case in point, yeah.
That was a sure thing. That was very, very close.
No, that was close. And had She-Hulk lived through that, that would have been.
Yeah. I think you probably win that game again if that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
well, there's a lot of decision trees, a lot of things that can happen, especially when the dice are involved, right? But all in all, I think that the two of you both played an incredible game, back and forth, and there was a lot of dice rolled. There was a lot of damage done this game, so good job
How
on
awesome
that.
was Thanos? Like, Thanos was amazing.
Oh my god!
Yeah, we were saying he
crushing
showed he
people
was
left and
worth
right.
his 9 points.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
With Reality, he has roughly an 8-die strike. Jacob
Oh, yeah,
could probably
absolutely.
be, more accurate on that, but I think it's roughly the same as 8 dice.
yeah.
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 So 3 8-die punches a turn with wild throws.
Yeah, I found, I don't know, Leaf, how you found in the season, but I think I played about 8 games with him, and I think 6 out of the 8 he rolled okay, and then 2 of them he just didn't turn up, and I just couldn't win the game because he didn't have the output required.
So this is the other reason I've got 2 big beaters, is usually if one of them checks out, the other one is there.
There to pick up the slack, right?
Yeah.
I like it.
Right. She-Hulk rolling her 11 dice.
Yeah. So that actually brings up a great point. Now, Morgan, I know you took this one, right? But when you're facing down the barrel of that Thanos gun and he's just driving that gauntlet into you repeatedly,
Oh.
do you have any like psychological tips for people in staying level-headed and not losing your cool when the dice, turn up a daze for two of your characters in the first activation?
Look, I play with Trav and Jaren a lot, and we all get a bit. And and I commented a number of times, said, "Leaf, man, Thanos is rolling so high." I don't like. I comment on it, and I use that as a bit of a stress relief. But I don't. I try not to let any of that tilt me or change the way I approach the game.
Right.
You still just all I try and do when I'm calculating movements and attacks. I just try and do the averages and go, right, on average, Thanos will do 4 hits, right? And I'll block 1 or 2 and I'll take 2 damage. And sometimes in that game, I think Thanos spiked quite well and it goes higher. But you can't do anything about it. So just keep planning the averages. And I try not to change my plan based on a run of good or bad dice. Just plan the average every time. Thanos is going to hit me, he's going to do 4 hits or whatever it is. I'm sure Jacob knows better than I do what it is. But that's the strategy I use. Plan for the averages and don't deviate from that plan based on someone having a good run or a bad run.
I do like your comment about vocalizing it to your opponent, saying, "Hey, man, that hit was nuts. That stank," and then that lets you alleviate some of the pressure, right? I think that's a good trick.
Yes, I mean you're also playing an interactive game with your opponent. So if you sit there in silence, which is fine, I don't mind that either. You're internalizing it, then it can start going over and over in your head, and then you start thinking about a roll 2 turns ago instead of, hey, what can I do to now change the situation to get it back in my favor? So I just vocalize it. Sometimes your opponents might not appreciate it. So I apologize, Leaf, that you're like, stop telling me how good my Thanos dice are. But I try not to be negative.
Yeah.
Certainly people I don't know, I try and not be negative. Yeah.
Right, and I think that's one thing that we see all over the place in the little community that we're starting to build here for TTS is that I haven't met anyone or played anyone here that I felt like I've had like a really sour time with. So kudos to the rest of the group and everyone that's done all their hard work building the mod with all these great miniatures and giving us a place to play during COVID. And thank you both so much. If either of you guys have a place to go, I don't want to keep you.
Man, I've only got to watch Travis versus Sploosh. That's Trav and I. He came down. He lives a few hours away. He was down here on the weekend, and we had to prep him for that. So I'm very keen to see how he goes against Sploosh.
Nice.
When is that, Morgan? Just for our viewers.
They're playing now. They should be on.
Yeah, it started
Yeah,
about an
I think
hour
it just
ago.
started.
Yeah.
Oh, an hour ago. Okay.
Oh, sounds like a great time to wrap up and go and watch that then.
Absolutely. Far better than
That's
Nice
it.
job
Cool.
off, yeah.
A great note to finish on. So thank you both for letting us stream the game and for giving us a great show. You guys are excellent, and I
It was a great
appreciate
game.
the invitation. So thank you so much. Good luck to Morgan further on in the finals.
Thanks, guys, and thanks, Leith. Awesome work to watch you take Thanos so far, and I think you probably got you probably would win this more often than not if we did a replay.
Yeah. But it was a great game.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. I'm going
Good game,
to
guys.
shut us off now, and and thank Art for doing another judge work today. That's double duty for you. So good job.
No problem.
Everyone have a great time and have a good night.
Thanks, Art, for doing the judging too. That was awesome, man.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
problem. I like it.
Mhm.
There's all these small interactions which are so easy to forget when you're
Oh,
focusing and like
Yeah.